2.5 hours, and I still don't know why.
Good morning. Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Great day in the morning, people.
Start your day with Baton Rouge's hub for information and opinion.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Here is Brian Haldane.
6:04, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn back in the 180 Pro studio. I am on the road this morning. It is this time for Washington Mardi Gras. We are broadcasting live from the LSU Alumni Hospitality Suite here at the Washington Hilton, the Tenleytown room, if you happen to be walking by. The Washington Mardi Gras every year is a fantastic opportunity for us to get out here and talk to, like, everybody. I mean, people we see on a regular basis, people we see on a monthly basis, and people we hardly ever see at all. It brings together a whole chunk of Louisiana under one roof, in one building. Yes, there's like snow all over the place outside, but we are ready to rock and roll. On this morning's show, it's actually going to be a little bit slow on the guest front to get started, but once we get ramped up, we will really get ramped up over the course of 4 shows. That's right now, 6 to 9 local time, 6 to 9 Central time. This afternoon we'll be broadcasting from 4 to 6. And then tomorrow morning, we'll have Mornings with Brian Haldane again, and then another evening show or afternoon drive show from 4 to 6. And, of course, all of it's brought to you by Rev, Presley Wealth Management, the Baton Rouge Metro Airport, Restore the Mississippi River Delta, and I know I'm missing one. I'm always missing one. I always nail 4 out of 5, and it's a different one I miss every single time. But we will be thanking our sponsors throughout, to be sure. We got a lot of ground to cover, y'all. A lot of ground to cover. So let's get after it. Top stories and trending.
Want to know what everyone's talking about?
I'm talking truth.
Here's a quick peek with top stories and trending.
Yeah, sounds good.
Presented by Baton Rouge Metro Airport on Talk 107.3. Number 5.
Louisiana Mid-Continental Oil and Gas Association. That was the one that I had left off. My apologies to Tommy and the crew over at Louisiana Mid-Continental Oil and Gas Association. They'll be a guest on the show actually a couple of different times while we're up here because we got numerous topics to cover with them. All right, starting off with number 5. Let's go ahead and get after it on our top stories. We have got 3 people have died at Elaine Hunt Correctional since Sunday, according to the Department of Corrections. 2 people on January 25th, 1 more person on January 27th. Officials said they couldn't provide identification or a cause of death at this time. You add those 3 to the 6 others who have died over the past 4 months at that same facility.
Number 4.
1 person's dead after a shooting at Eagle Suites on Boardwalk Drive on Wednesday night. The shooting happened at the hotel on Boardwalk in South Sherwood Forest Boulevard. Officials said the coroner was contacted. We do not know the name of the person who was deceased.
Number 3.
LSU unveiled the new Intimidator in right field. The old one was, of course, updated to include the new 2025 National Championship, and it does look sweet.
Number 2.
Whoop. Closed it out. No. Give me just a second, y'all. Violent crime. That is going to be the main focus of the new U.S. Attorney, Kurt Wall. Wall was in front of the Rotary Club yesterday. I did miss that one because I was in an airport. Wall was in front of the Rotary Club yesterday, talked about the needs of his new district, and violent crime will be priority number 1.
Number 1.
Metro Councilman Cleve Dunn is looking at a stack of indictments. In a 19th JDC courtroom on Wednesday morning, Dunn was indicted on 2 counts each of bribery and money laundering, as well as public contract fraud, illegal split commission of commodities, and malfeasance in office. He's also being charged with multiple counts of conspiracy connected to the scheme. This whole scheme involving cats.
There's a look at today's top stories. Now let's find out what's trending.
The bus system cats, the capillary transit system. I'm not talking about like kitty cats there, Brie.
Brian. The FBI has seized boxes of 2020 election ballots from an election office in Fulton County, Georgia, meaning we're going to find out if there's anything to the conspiracy theories about Trump's loss.
Okay, let's go. This is what we're here for, right? We've been hearing about this for 6 years now.
And it was a huge deal. Yeah. Everybody was talking about it.
Yeah. Now, the problem here is you have a Trump FBI working right now. So if they do
Right.
find something, it's going to be tilted in their favor. Now, if they don't find something, you're probably just going to hear the same old story if it was, everything's rigged. But
Right.
the
right.
ball's in their court if they want it.
The Senate has taken a number of procedural appropriation votes today. They've got till tomorrow night to get spending approved before another governmental shutdown.
Yeah. How big of a sticking point is ICE going to be?
Right.
And are they looking to fully defund ICE, or will there be some middle ground along the way that they settle in on? I'm genuinely curious about this as to where this is going to play out. Is it worth shutting down the entire government over this? Because we just went around where last December we were told there is nothing more important than healthcare and making sure everyone has healthcare. This is the number one priority. And now we're less than 2 months later. We're told there's nothing more important than shutting down ICE. It just eventually something has to be more important, and something has to be. There are priorities, and you can stack them up, and they're not all worth shutting down the government. They're not all worth saying I'm going to take my ball and go home.
Right. Every time I turn around, we're shutting down the government.
Yeah. Since you've taken over as producer, this will be the second time. Like,
Gosh.
seriously, think about that. You're barely 3 months in.
Another one.
Yeah.
Yep. Some customers are now suing Costco, claiming their famous cheap $5 rotisserie chickens contain chemical preservatives that weren't on the label.
No, you shut your face. There's nothing better than the $5 Costco rotisserie chicken.
I agree.
I don't know what's in it. I don't want to know what's in it.
Me either.
I want to enjoy my chicken, and then more importantly, enjoy the chicken salad that I make after the fact, because who eats that whole thing in one,
Correct.
I don't care how big your family is. That the rotisserie chicken expands with the number of people in the room.
Right. And when I go to cook
Yeah.
and I need that chicken, I'm the one that's pulling off the pieces while I'm cooking with it.
I love deboning a chicken. I don't know why. It's primal. I don't know why. I love deboning a chicken, making sure I get every ounce of meat off of that thing, and then just looking at that pile of bones in the garbage can.
Like, yeah, I get that.
Should I be tested to see if I've got something wrong with me? There are better hobbies to have, I'm sure.
Right. But leave the $5 rotisserie chickens alone.
And it's delicious. Oh, by
Yes.
the way. So we are at 6:11 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Before we take our first break, got to remind you about the folks over at Neurojust. Neurojust.com is the website. At Neurojust, excuse me, a little cough button right there. At Neurojust, they treat anxiety and depression specifically for people who have been previously treatment resistant. So if the sit down, talk it out therapy wasn't really your bag, if you hate the way you feel on antidepressants, give them a look, give them a call. Search them up on the internet is where I would start, because you get to learn so much more before you even talk to them. Neurojust, neurojust.com. And they show results, y'all. They're showing results. People, the results are 80+% show not full on. I want to make sure I get the numbers right. 80+% show full response, not full remission, but full response. The remission rates are above 3/4 as well. I tell you what, this is why I sent you to the website to begin with, neurojust.com. Oh, by the way, and this is important when it comes to mental health, because you won't find this everywhere. Your insurance will pick up the tab. Learn more at neurojust.com. I'm clear?
Yep, we're clear.
All right, Troy, I don't want to hear it about the camera color. No, I appreciate the throwback to the lobster days. That was awesome. But I have a purple and a gold light lighting the wall behind me because I'm in the LSU room. So if you look over here, purple. Over here, gold. So, yeah, that's where we're at right now. My coloring is just fine.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah. And there's like nothing going on up here yet this morning. So
I like your chair, Brian. You look comfortable.
So I didn't get in time to get anything set up over here. So I just kind of have to. And this has been like Washington Mardi Gras tradition from the beginning. From the beginning of me doing this, is the first show is always like fly by the seat of your pants to get it done. I might want to start looking at flying up on Tuesday and having a full day Wednesday. Because, I mean, if I'm going to have a guest host on Wednesday, like a travel day, I might as well push the travel up to Tuesday so that my Wednesday can be like a setup day.
Correct.
Oh. But what I'm hoping to do is get a different table and chairs in, so that I can be by the window and open the window as the backdrop so you can see the Capitol Hilton and all of that good stuff. A little piece of Washington in the backdrop.
Well, and you know what would be cool if we could toss to you a few times on your show that Wednesday and say, what are you seeing so far?
Yeah, that'd be fun. Morning. So I don't have any cuts for sports. I just need to pull up basketball.
Okay.
And yeah, I have like the tiniest little glass table in front of me. Y'all can't really see it on camera. I've set it up to where it's, because it's all like clunky.
What time is our first guest so far?
6:35. His name is Carlton Meganley. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I just asked him for his pronunciation. I think I've got that right. It's either Carlton or Charlton. I'll double check. He heads up Veterans Affairs for Louisiana. And then our next guest is until 7:35, and that's a woman with Restore the Mississippi River Delta. Yeah, y'all coming up at 6:23. You're going to hear a story. Holy crap. It took some doing to get here.
We're about to bump back in.
Okay. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. In top stories and trending, we told you they unveiled the new Intimidator out in right field to add that 8th natty up to it. The 2025 National Championship is the Tigers, led by Cade Anderson. And, well, he's the only one that went to St. Paul, so he's the only one I'm going to mention. Cade Anderson and a cast of others. The new Intimidator's up in right field. It is gorgeous. And I talk about that here because basketball season's over with. Not technically, they're still going to play another, dozen or so games, but basketball season's over with. Man, I held out hope. I wanted the best for Matt McMahon. Likely the Matt McMahon era is over with here at LSU. He's probably going to move on to another university where he is going to win again the same way he won before he came to LSU. It's borderline. It's sad. Anyway, 80-66, LSU men's basketball team loses at home to Mississippi State last night. The Mississippi State Bulldogs move on to 3-5 in conference play, 11-10 overall. LSU just could not get out of the starting blocks to get the game off right. It's like they're snake bit in one way or another. Either they fire out the blocks and they can't maintain, or they just can't get started. And not getting started was the case last night. In fact, first half, Mississippi State won the first half 44-21. LSU won the second half 45-36, but that's not enough to make up all the ground. So, yeah, when you're down by 23 at halftime, you know you're in trouble. For the Tigers, they were led in scoring by Max McKinnon. He had 15 on the night. Interestingly enough, only 1 of 5 from three-point range. DJ Thomas had 14 points, only had 4 assists on the night. DJ Thomas had no turnovers on the night. That's always an important statistic from your point guard. Rashad King had 14, and Pablo Tamba had 10. That was those were your 4 who scored in double figures. Rough night for Markel Sutton, who only had 4 points. Actually, Markel Sutton only played 24 minutes, only had 4 points. Looked like he was and I was following the game on the radio in the airport. I was just listening to it listening to Chris Blair on the call. Markel Sutton only had 4. Mike Nwoko only had 4. It just this Tiger team has been snake bit from the start. Whether you're talking about losing Jalen Reed early in the season to an injury, losing DJ Thomas to an injury for the first half of your conference play, and now they just don't seem to be into a rhythm where you can get great nights out of 3 to 4 guys. You got a good night, a decent night out of Max McKinnon last night, And your bigs, your Markel Sutton and your Mike Nwoko, not so much. I mean, 4 points apiece, just not going to cut it. And Mississippi State, a game at home, was a game you had to have. Mathematically speaking, if they run the table, they're still in. But mathematically speaking, with that game last night, if they were able to pull that one out, you could have seen a viable path to them being a bubble team in just a couple weeks. Now, not so much. Now it's a lot harder because that was a gimme. That was a gimme that's going to call into question every other gimme that's on the schedule, because if you can't take the gimme at home, you're not going to get a gimme on the road. And, oh, by the way, sadly, at the end of the season, we're likely going to be looking for a new coach. Matt McMahon just does not have wins enough or resume enough underneath him to get it done. I still believe he's a very good coach, but got to get it done. So we're coming up on 6:20 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Our guest list will begin at 6:35. We'll talk with the State's Department of Veterans Affairs. Will be in with us. But coming up in our next segment, I got to tell the story of how I got here. That's right after the Fox Business Report on Talk 107.3.
And this is the Fox.
What was I going to look at? Traffic. That's okay.
Your go for traffic.
All right, let's head back to the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center, where relatively light on the interstates this morning. You will find some volume on I-12 westbound coming in from Denham Springs. About the usual level of volume right there. Maybe a little bit lighter than normal, but you're not going to be by yourself. After you get past the Range Avenue on-ramp, things clear up a little bit. In fact, 12's looking good the rest of the way through the 10-12 merge. Meanwhile, I-10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish is looking good. I-10 eastbound coming back across from West Baton Rouge is looking good, and so is I-110. Meanwhile, surface streets. Now, we're looking at an accident on South Sherwood Forest Boulevard by I-12. There's an accident on Sherwood at I-12 from about 10 minutes ago. But also, Sherwood southbound, when you get into the Sherwood Forest subdivision, Sherwood southbound, we're looking at delays already stacking up on Sherwood South at Goodwood. So right at that red light, it's looking like more than one light exchange to get you through there. Other than that, streets of Baton Rouge are looking good to start off your morning. That's your look at traffic from Talk 107.3's Traffic Center. Talking with 73 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Brian here with you, Bree Lynn, back in the 180 Pro studio back home. Man, it was a struggle to get here. Oh, my goodness gracious. So we're broadcasting live from Washington Mardi Gras. And in fact, I'm going to tell you about the rundown here in just a little bit. But yesterday, so I was set to take that direct flight from Baton Rouge Metro Airport that I love telling you about, that flight that leaves out at 7 o'clock in the morning and just scooches right on into Washington, into Reagan National. I got to the airport, find out that flight's canceled. Another flight out of Baton Rouge that lays over in Charlotte, North Carolina before coming to D.C. was also canceled. And then I look up at the board, and pretty much just about everything American Airlines has is canceled. Look around and start to try and figure things out. The woman who was working with me at the airport she was trying to be helpful, telling me, everything was either canceled or full within the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. So in a panic, I pivoted, adjusted, made a different reservation. From as much as I love flying BTR, I had to pivot and head down the street to New Orleans and fly Southwest to get up here. Boy, that was an absolute nightmare. Nothing sells BTR like flying MSY. I will say that definitively. The massive humanity that was the TSA line, the delay after delay after delay before we got off the ground in New Orleans, and then more delays when we laid over at Hobby Airport in Houston. Just all in, all combined. I walked through the front door of the Baton Rouge Metro Airport at about, I want to say it's about 5:45 in the morning. I got to my Airbnb here in Washington, D.C. at 1:45 in the morning. Like, that was a ridiculous slog. Unbelievable from start to finish. Oh, by the way, once I got to D.C., y'all, there's so much snow on the ground. It just hasn't gone anywhere. When you think about it logically, where would it go? Because they haven't warmed up. If you think about it logically, it's just going to sit there. But the snowstorm was Saturday into Sunday? And today is Thursday. And you're still looking at like a minimum of, and this is how obviously it's going to be higher because it was pushed off to the side. It wasn't leveled out across the board, but like a minimum of a foot of snow along every street. More often than not, we're talking 18 inches to 2 feet where it's all piled up. And the streets of Washington, like, they do a really good job of making sure all the main thoroughfares are cleared. But if you got to get off of a main thoroughfare onto one of the, side streets that connects them, and it's a great grid, so that helps. But if you've got to get off onto a side street that connects them, it's like the snow just fell yesterday, except that it's iced over a lot more on top. Oh, brutal. Absolutely brutal. But we're here. And we've got 10 solid hours of content over 2 days to bring to you. We're going to talk with Charlton Miganley with Louisiana's Veterans Affairs. He's coming up in our next segment. In our next hour, we've got I held off on booking a guest for 7:15, honestly, because I didn't know if I was going to be in town yet or not. I didn't know if I was going to get stuck. So held off on that. At 7:35 our time, 7:35 Baton Rouge time, we're going to talk with one of the sponsors of the broadcast, and that would be, give me one quick second. I got my rundowns in pieces still. Oh, by the way, we're going to talk with Liz Russell from Restore the Mississippi River Delta. Looking forward to that conversation greatly. Restore the Mississippi River Delta, National Wildlife, Lake Pontchartrain Basin Foundation, they've all been great partners of us doing these broadcasts from the first time we did them. And I asked, second time we did them, but they've been in every year since, and it's awesome. So looking forward to talking with Liz Russell at 7:35. In our 8 o'clock hour, We're going to have Friday Ellis on the show. Kind of biased here. I really, really like Friday Ellis. He's Monroe's mayor. He's going to be on the hotline, not physically with me because, well, things are rough in Monroe right now. So we're going to talk a little bit of Washington Mardi Gras, but more to the point, we're going to talk about what went down with the winter storm in his neck of the woods. And God, I really wish I had him for 2 segments because there's so much to talk about between what went on with the winter storm, what he normally gets out of Washington Mardi Gras. And there's another little side note on this one. I'm looking at this District 5 congressional race, and we got a number of candidates stacked up for it. I haven't seen his name yet. So maybe I just missed it because I was in airports all day long yesterday. But we'll talk with him about that as a possibility as well. Oh, and after we're done with Friday Ellis, we've got this is going to be a completely different conversation. It is nuts. Now I'm losing her name. She's a chief of the Chitimacha tribe in Louisiana, and we're gonna Darden, Chief Darden, as who we're gonna talk to. What's going on in their world, and how does Washington Mardi Gras apply and or help them? It's going to be another really, really good conversation. We're stacked up the whole way through. Tell you what, we are at 6:30 at Talk 107.3 FM. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we will start a couple of we'll start one of the conversations that we've got lined up, talking Veterans Affairs next.
ABC News.
I got to step away for 1 second to go get my guest.
Okay.
All right. Just like almost like it's a MC. And your first name, you pronunciation is Charlton. Charlton. Just like the actor. Okay. Yeah. Look, once a year, my mother and I get spirited today, Martin Luther King. I have 4 brothers. They all have no more names. They all have no more names. So. Yeah. So. When I become congressman, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you don't see too many congressional folks with the news today. Well, we might have a Dixon coming up. Is that his real name? I mean, like I thought that was like a.
We're about a minute and a half out.
How are we looking, Breland?
I can hear that.
We're about to be in weather.
Okay. So we're always on Facebook Live.
Got it.
So that was video, but no audio until now. So
okay. Yeah, my wife. The house chose us.
Okay.
So we were living here, and my wife woke up one morning and said, "I'm going home. 20 years in the military.
Yeah,
I'm done. You said it was going to be 4." And so she started kind of looking at houses a little bit for fun, just to kind of see what was going on. And my mother-in-law was aging at the time, well, still, and so my wife was very concerned about her health and well-being.
Yeah.
In Slidell, she was by herself.
Yeah.
And so she'd gone down to Covington because that's where she knew she wanted to be. She's like, Covington or Mandeville, I don't care.
Heaven on earth.
But it's the best part of Louisiana.
It is. Oh. We can tell this on air if you want. Sure. .636 Talk 103 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. This is our coverage of Washington Mardi Gras, which is, of course, brought to you by the folks at Presley Wealth Management, Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association, the Baton Rouge Metro Airport, Restore the Mississippi River Delta, and REV. Let me tell you, before we get to our next guest, our first guest of the morning, remind you about flybtr.com, flybtr.com. Hey, everything I told you about in that last segment, that's not a BTR problem. That's an American Airlines problem. That is not nationwide, but regionally, like everywhere that got hit by that 2,000-mile wide storm, American Airlines was on the struggle bus yesterday. The folks at BTR, man, that was well out of their hands. And so like I said, nothing sells BTR like flying MSY. And I got a good dose of that yesterday. If you're making travel plans, visit flybtr.com. Take into account the entire experience, y'all. Even in terms of a flight cancellation, you're going to have somebody at the ready trying to get you where you need to be, trying to get you on your way where you need to go. Don't worry about the exorbitant parking fees. Don't worry about the massive humanity that they cattle through TSA. It's a completely different experience. flybtr.com. All right. First up on our guest list this morning, we've got Charlton Meganley. He is heading up Veterans Affairs here in Louisiana. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Always good to be back in D.C.
Yeah? Even if there's like a foot and a half of snow piled on the side of the road?
It's been quite bizarre.
Oh, yeah.
To say the least. And we lived here for 2 years. This was actually my last duty assignment when I was in the Air Force.
Okay.
I don't remember being this cold. And I think it may have snowed once or twice, but nothing like this, to the point almost like gridlock.
Yeah.
So I think this is very unusual for the city.
So for the Washington Mardi Gras vets, or the Washington Mardi Gras, the old heads, 2017 or 2018, I'm not sure which year it was, they completely snowed in, drank the hotel dry.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
And, even last year, a lot of the flights got canceled coming up
because
here.
we hit the blizzard on our end.
So I was up here for the inauguration and doing some other veteran affairs matters.
Yep.
And my kids were playing in 12 inches of snow in Madisonville, and it was just cold here, really, and so it's just bizarre times, I guess, last year.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it would be nice if some of this would melt off a little bit, but the high today is like 24.
Well, if you're sticking around over the weekend, there's a possibility of some sort
I'm supposed to fly back on Saturday.
Oh, I'm out tomorrow night, just in case, because my wife has
lucky.
She has her crew party on Saturday night.
Oh,
and she's like, you need to be home for the party.
Crew party in Madison. Eve.
Yeah, she's a member of Eve, and Eve is a wonderful thing down in Mandeville.
Yep,
great crew, great group of women. And we look forward to this every year.
I want you to. We're going to keep you to the top of the hour if that's okay. We're going to have a break in the middle, but let's start off here. I want you to tell your story, because your story is kind of the. I don't want to say it's the poster child, but it's exactly why recruiting veterans into your state is a really good thing. How did y'all land? You started to tell me during the break. How did y'all land in Madisonville?
So I'm from Alexandria. My wife is from Slidell.
Mhm.
And we met while I was at ULM.
Okay.
So up in Monroe. She's a pharmacy grad. I went to criminal justice school up there. And so we meet there. I told her at some point I have to join the military. My grandfather was World War II. My other grandfather was World War II in Korea. My dad was National Guard. All of my relatives were in the military. For me, service wasn't. It was mandatory. Like,
right.
When I was getting ready to graduate from high school, my father said, if you don't have a scholarship, I'm going to march your butt down to the Army Recruiter's office because it's your turn.
Right.
Essentially. Well, I was one of the first TOPS classes.
Okay.
And so I got a ride to ULM, got my degree. And then I told my wife while we were dating, I need to go to law school. I'd always wanted to go to law school. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a prosecutor. And so, but I need to go in the military.
Well, hey, is from your end, is there pushback there when your dad says, I'm going to march your butt down? Or in your mind, is it like, no, we'll see about that? Or is it like, yeah, of course, this is what the family does?
There was some pushback, but mainly because I knew about the importance of having a college degree.
Okay.
And so, and I think my family understood that as well. I was the first in my family to graduate on one side of my family with a college degree.
Okay.
So they understood the importance of that. And so I ended up going to law school, looking to the Air Force almost immediately once I get in. Ended up getting into the Air Force as a JAG.
Mm-hmm.
And 6 weeks after I passed the bar, I'm in OTS. I'm in commissioned officers training. And it all, to me, even looking back on it now, 20 something years later, it's all like this massive blur. Mm. And so my wife, we got married when I was in law school, and she goes, well, so how long is this Air Force thing going to be? Because she wasn't military.
Right.
And so I said, 4 years. Let me do 4 years. We'll come back. I'll be a rich lawyer in downtown New Orleans. You can have lots of babies, and life's going to be grand.
Yeah.
Well, we had lots of babies, but we had far more of an unusual life than I think she was ever expecting.
Okay.
And so we were living up here in Washington, D.C. I was stationed at Andrews. And one morning, about 19 years in, she said, you know what? I miss home.
Mm-hmm.
I miss my mama. And I miss Mardi Gras. And not in any particular order. And she was already a member of the crew of Eve in Mandeville, and she would fly back and forth. So we were living in Seattle at one point, and she would fly in, do the crew, stay a week, do all the things, and then fly back, to wherever we were. And so she just said it was time. And I'm like, you sure? We got a great life here in Virginia. Like, I'm ready to go home. And 20 years of military service, it's hard, but it's harder on the spouses and the families.
Sure. Yeah.
And my wife's a pharmacist. She has 7 licenses because of my military service, just bouncing around. My oldest went to 12 schools. And so it was about stability and just reconnecting with our folks back home.
Mm-hmm.
But my kids have seen and done things that no other kids can possibly imagine. We've lived in Germany. We've lived in Washington State. We've done some great things. We did some great things in the service. I'm very, very privileged and honored to have had that opportunity. But yeah, she chose Mandeville, Madisonville, Covington area. She went to SSA as a kid for high school. Go Doves. My kids go to school in Covington, and it's a wonderful place to be.
It really is. But like the fact that this, like, you could have chosen anywhere, right?
And we did. We start.
She's originally Slidell, but like, I mean, Mandeville's where Eve is at. But like, you could have chosen anywhere, and the fact that you zeroed in on West St. Tammany Parish is pretty remarkable, because what you're bringing to the community is you're bringing a 2-income solid family. Like, it's
well, and this is one of the things that I tell people about veterans, and oftentimes people kind of forget about this. So we left for 20 years.
Yeah.
So my money was spent other places.
Right.
My DOD pay was spent other places. And so now that I'm a military retiree, I get DOD Washington money, right?
Yeah.
By virtue of my service.
Right.
And so my wife takes my pay and spends it at PJ's and Target and all of the vendors, the local vendors in the Covington, Mandeville area. And so that's an infusion of just other folks' dollars being pumped into our economy. Okay. So I'll throw out St. Tammany. St. Tammany has a little over 16,000 veterans in the parish.
Okay.
All right. So you got to think in terms of pots of money. So you've got your retirees who get DOD money, and then you get your veterans who have VA money. So that's VA compensation pension for any particular disability that they may have. In St. Tammany by itself, those 16,000 veterans pump in $160 million in VA compensation and pension.
That's incredible.
So imagine, Mike Cooper, if you're listening, imagine if he's the president down in St. Tammany.
Okay.
Imagine 16,000 people walking out of your community carrying their $160 million away. It would be devastating to any economy. And so one of my messages to everywhere in the state, because I travel everywhere. I'll be in Shreveport next week. I'm always in Monroe. We're always in Lafayette. It's that, what are you as a community doing to make your community attractive to veterans?
Yes.
Because the thank you for your service, 100%. Your veterans make your community stronger. They're more civic minded. They bring discipline. They bring hard work. They bring education. They bring skills. They bring all the things that you would expect that a veteran would bring.
Absolutely.
But they also bring this knack for being a reliable employee, and not just an employee, but veterans love starting their own businesses.
Hang on. I want to pick it up there on the back end of the. We're going to take a quick break when we come back, because that's going to dovetail in what your mission is up in Washington Mardi Gras as well. Right. So we've got Charlton Meganly in with us. He heads up Veterans Affairs in the state of Louisiana. We're going to pick up the conversation right where we left it off. But first, we're going to check traffic. We're going to check your money now. Coming back next on Talk 107.3.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
it's always cool when you can see results in your own community. You know, if you raise money for a nonprofit or whatever the case may be. 652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along, coming to you live from Washington Mardi Gras. Hey, the folks at Rev, one of the great sponsors of this trip, one of the great sponsors of all the content we're creating while we're up here. And oh, by the way, when you're talking about Rev, you're talking about bringing it to you faster than anybody else, because we're talking about the next level in speed and reliability. Rev's fiber internet delivers end-to-end connection, fiber optic technology close to the speed of light, 30 times faster than cable is the long and the short of it. Want to learn more? Visit letsrev.com. Letsrev.com. All right, diving back into it, we were talking with Charlton Meganley, heads up Veterans Affairs for the state of Louisiana. And we're kind of moving over towards, like, you know, you talk about why the veteran is the community member you want to recruit, or the person you want to recruit to your community. So that brings it kind of around to what you're doing up here. What's your mission with Washington Mardi Gras?
So yesterday we spent the day with the federal VA.
Mm-hmm.
As you can imagine, a lot of veterans get their health care through the federal VA. I'm one of them. We have 3 major veterans hospitals, VA hospitals in the state: Shreveport, Alexandria, and New Orleans. And so making sure that we have those very close connections, the close bonds with the federal VA leadership is paramount. If I have a veteran across the state who has a problem, oftentimes they don't know where to go. And so by me being able to make that phone call to the federal VA, we can often just get that individual the help that he or she needs almost immediately. Mm-hmm. And we have very close relationships with the federal VA. They are essentially our major partner, and making sure that they see us when we come up here is paramount to what I do. When I'm done with you, I'm going to head over to the DAV headquarters. I've got a meeting with them. DAV does great work in the state of Louisiana, as does the VFW and the American Legion. So we have great partners, but these are partners that, I mean, we're all in this together, right, because the state DVA has so many resources, only so many resources to do our job.
Yep.
And I can't be in every VFW meeting. I can't be in every American Legion meeting. And so I need them to let me know how I can help on the ground right then and there.
Yeah.
And so
that's one of the great things about this. And it's, you know, part of our coverage of Washington Mardi Gras is just talking about Washington Mardi Gras. Everybody has their own individual mission up here, whether it is meeting with somebody on a federal level or meeting with somebody who's 2 towns over. You just happen to be in the same place at the same time. So it's always cool to hear the different perspectives on that.
Right. I mean, I think I've been up to DC now 3 or 4 times since I've been in this position. We've gone and testified on the Hill in Congress about our veterans' homes. We've also testified about mental health programs that we're doing in Louisiana for our veterans, and what we're doing to try to combat, you know, veteran suicide, which is such a tragic issue.
It is.
And you know, that issue is still mind-blowing to me, in the sense of how many more millions and millions of dollars does the American taxpayer have to continue to pay for us to get this issue under control?
Right.
You know, and it's still, it bothers me every time.
As it should. I mean, it's an issue that, like, veterans need a couple of different things, and one of them is the support network of other veterans.
Yes.
And because I am not a veteran, and I'm never going to pretend to understand what it means to be a veteran. That's why, like, I can hear stories, I can talk to people, I can empathize, but, like, I can never know what it's like to walk a mile in those shoes.
Right. And that's why I encourage, you know, the veteran community, get involved with a local veteran service organization. You know, the VFW is amazing, and they do amazing work in our communities. American Legion, Military Order of the Purple Heart, the Marine Corps League, Catholic War Veterans, DAV. There's so many organizations that you can be around, your brothers and sisters, right, where you can have those shared experiences and have someone to lean on in those times of trouble if you ever get into it. But, you know, the other thing is this. So there are plenty of non-traditional, you know, veteran service organizations as well. One of them is the Acadiana Veterans Alliance. My good friend Andrew Ward down in Lafayette. That's
from the Boot.
The Boot is a little different.
Well, that's where I know Andrew from.
Yes, but Andrew also heads up the Acadiana Veterans Alliance, and you know, they bring in you know, veterans from that local community as well. There's some up and coming other chapters, you know, around the state. Bayou Advocacy up in Monroe is up and running now. And we got the Southwest Louisiana Veterans group as well. So get involved in these groups because you'll find your purpose. And I think that's a lot of times part of the issue is when you get out of the military, it's like, what's your purpose?
Right.
You kind of lose that sense of you. I know I did. When you're 20 years and you have this identity, it's like, what do I do now? Right.
Well, it's crazy because, I mean, you walked in, you already had a law degree walking in. You already had a wife. You could walk out with the full-on family. And even still, there's that much dedication and service to where once it's gone, there's a void.
Well, 20 years of wearing camo.
Right.
And I was a lawyer who wore camo.
Right.
It's even now, it's still kind of hard to believe. But when I wore camo for the last time, I had to sit there for an hour and make sure that I understood that once I take this off, it's not coming back on.
Right.
And you don't just turn that off, overnight. And that was one of the best things about being able to be appointed to this position was it allowed me to have that transition that I don't really think I got as a service member, and that's been, when we talk about veteran suicide, that is one of the kind of the factors is walking out of the service. What do you do now in life? And so many veterans struggle with what's next.
Right. Wow.
Where am I going to work? Where am I going to live? Where do I need to go to school? It's all these things because when you've been part of the military culture, it's regimented. You know what you're going to do. You know where you're going. You know on the 1st and the 15th you're going to get paid. Right.
Yeah, and once you remove it, if it's not filled immediately, then those gaps, those vacuums, they lead to
and that's
questioning.
Why every service member, it's so important to start having a plan when you walk out of the military. And you talked about the boot. The boot is one of our biggest partners.
Oh, we got 30 seconds, by the way. Go ahead.
Oh, well, the boot is a transitional program. So for those service members who are trying to figure out what to do next, the boot helps put them employed. It's a service that preps them essentially for post-military life.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that here in a bit if you want.
Well, we got to hit the top of the hour. We're going to pick up on we're definitely going to get you back on. I'll tell you what, let's get together for another segment like on one of the afternoon drive shows.
Absolutely.
Because I'm up here for, 4 shows total. So he is Charlton Maganley, heads up Veterans Affairs for the state of Louisiana. Appreciate a couple minutes this morning.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
ABC News coming your way. Hour 2 is next.
Protect your retirement. The Presley Group.
Meteorologist Dave Baker.
I'm gonna need coffee. Goodness.
On a hill across the blue lake, that's where I had my first heartbreak. I still remember how it all changed.
We got our heater working.
My father said, don't you worry, child. She has got a plan for you. Don't you worry now. Yeah.
7:05, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Morning with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn producing back in the 180 Pro studio. We are not, or I'm not in the 180 Pro studio because I am on location. Broadcasting live from the LSU Alumni Suite, the hospitality suite here at Washington Mardi Gras. This is something we do every single year, and we absolutely love it. We pack up, head to Washington Mardi Gras, hear a number of great stories like we heard from Charlton in our last hour, like we're going to hear this hour as well. It is a great opportunity for all of Louisiana to basically convene on the same place. Coming up this hour, left next segment open. So we're going to cover some news of the day within that segment. It is still a morning show. We'll cover some news of the day in that segment. In 7:35, we're going to talk with Liz Russell. Always looking forward to these conversations because we get the chance to talk about restoring Louisiana's coast. And give me just one second. Restoring Louisiana's coast and protecting the assets that are ours. So that's going to be coming up before this hour is over with. Next hour, we're going to have a lot of fun talking to Friday Ellis. I say fun. It's going to be very informative talking to Friday Ellis. He's the mayor of Monroe. Obviously, he couldn't make it to Washington Mardi Gras this time around because he's taking care of his city. They got hit really hard by the storm. That being said, though, he's normally at Washington Mardi Gras and has a great story to tell across the board. So looking forward to that conversation as well. A whole lot coming your way. Let's get our hour started with top stories and trending.
Let's find out what you might have missed overnight.
What is going on?
This is Top Stories and Trending, presented by Baton Rouge Metro Airport on Talk 107.3.
I want us all to listen carefully.
Number 5.
3 people have died at the Lane Hunt Correctional Center since Sunday, according to the Department of Corrections. 2 people died on January 25th, one other person on January 27th. Officials said they could not provide identification or a cause of death for any of them. Now, let's remember, before these 3 people died, half a dozen died over the last few months as well.
Number 4.
1 person is dead after shooting at Eagle Suites on Boardwalk Drive Wednesday night. The shooting happened at the hotel Boardwalk in South Sherwood Forest Boulevard is where this hotel's at. Officials said the coroner was contacted. There was 1 person dead. We do not have an identification on that person yet.
Number 3.
LSU unveiled the new Intimidator in right field of Alec Box Stadium. The old one was, of course, updated to include the new 2025 National Championship. And with those 8 natties up there, it is looking pretty sweet.
Number 2.
New U.S. Attorney Kurt Wall was a guest of the Rotary Club yesterday. He addressed the club yesterday afternoon, delivering a message to all the DAs in East Baton Rouge and the surrounding parishes. Says, we're open for business. Per the advocate, Wall is a little more than 3 months into his tenure as U.S. Attorney for the U.S. Middle District, the district court based in Baton Rouge, where they cover Ascension, Livingston, Point Capee, Eberville, East and West Baton Rouge, and the Felicianas as well. Wall says the emphasis early on, at least, is going to be fighting violent crime.
Number 1.
We are looking at a handful of indictments against District 6 Councilman Cleve Dunn. This is involving a corruption investigation over at CATS, the Capital Area Transit System. In a 19th JDC courtroom on Wednesday morning, Dunn was indicted on 2 counts each of bribery and money laundering, as well as public contract fraud. illegal split commission of commodities and malfeasance in office. Dunn is also being charged with multiple counts of conspiracy connected to this Katz scheme.
Those are your top stories. It's time to see what's trending.
Well, the FBI has seized boxes of 2020 election ballots from the election office in Fulton County, Georgia, meaning that we're going to find out if there's anything to the conspiracy theories about Trump's loss.
Yeah. Hopefully we can put this whole thing to bed. I mean, it's been 6 years in the making now. So really, though, at this point, do you think anybody's going to be satisfied with whatever they find on either side?
No.
Yeah,
no.
I think you're right.
And here's the thing. Back in 2020, I really believe the reason why this was just so big and everybody was talking about it, we were all shut down. There was Tiger King to watch.
Yep.
There was this, you know.
Oh, no. You got to be true to Louisiana, though, Breland. Before there was Tiger King, you know what there was for like 3 weeks?
What was it? Hang on.
Pharmacist.
Oh, God, yes.
Remember Dan Schneider, the pharmacist, the dude from Chalmette?
It was good. It was good.
Oh, that was it was horrible, but it was good. It was
right.
It was so
I know
bad,
it's horrible. Right.
I mean, yeah, and by the way, after that, you know, the fentanyl crisis really erupted as well. So,
right.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, all to say, you know, it will be a big deal, but I don't think it would be as big as a deal like it was back in 2020 because we had nothing to do.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Yeah. You know, we're going to see. All right. The Senate is taking a number of procedural appropriation votes today. They've got till tomorrow night to get spending approved before another governmental shutdown.
Yeah. So it looks like ICE is the hang up this time around. Last time it was healthcare, and we were told there was nothing more important, and it was worth shutting the government down for. So this time around, we're being told there's nothing more important, and they're going to shut the government down for it.
It's just a common thing now.
We throw out the baby with the bathwater for everything.
Right. And it's just wild that is predictable now in American politics.
Yeah.
That we will not do the one job required to keep the government open until the absolute last minute. You got these dramatic press conferences. It's just, what?
Yeah.
I know. Okay, some customers are now suing Costco, claiming their famous cheap $5 rotisserie chickens contain chemical preservatives that weren't on the label.
Nope. Shut up. Don't want to hear it.
Right.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know what's in it. It's a $5 rotisserie chicken, and it's delicious.
It's so good. Yeah.
What chemicals could they possibly? Nope. I'm not asking. I'm not opening that Pandora's box because I don't want to know.
I
enjoy it way too much. And it doesn't matter what you pair it with. I mean, if you put it with a little broccoli, put it with a little, spinach, whatever, it's like it goes good with all the vegetables. And when you're done with it, deboning that thing and making a chicken salad or whatever on the back end. Oh, come on. It's not just a $5 meal. It's multiple meals.
And if you really want to go down that rabbit hole, America's food in general, come on. You know what I mean? You got to bring up everything else. But leave the $5 chickens alone. They're good.
Yeah, leave my $5 chicken alone. I need my $5 Costco chicken. Absolutely. We got a break coming up in a little bit. Before we take that break, though, I want to remind you about the folks over at 180 Pros. 180pros.com is their website. What are you getting with 180 Pros? Well, I'm going to tell you this. You're not getting an IT provider. You're getting an IT partner. Big difference right there. Someone who bases their success off of your success. Yeah, they can build out your network and maintain your network. Yes. They know the latest in cybersecurity and how to keep you protected, to keep you up and running, to keep your business where it needs to be. But it's your success that they base their success off of. Learn more at 180pros.com. Also, if you're going to have a partner, they're going to be somebody local. 225-330-2200. 225-330-2200. Or learn more at 180pros.com. Quick break. We're coming back.
My brother-in-law died suddenly.
Who's our next guest again? And what's their time?
7:35, and it's Liz Russell.
Liz Russell Environmental Defense Fund.
That sounds right.
Cool.
All right, I gotta get up and walk around or I'm gonna fall asleep. Oh, can you grab 7, 8, 9
I can.
and 10, 11, and 12, and then we're gonna do them in reverse order. It's gonna go 10, 11, 12 first, then 7, 8, 9. Okay.
Got it.
Oh, thanks. I'll be back in a minute. How long do we have?
We're in traffic still. We got a little time.
Okay. Eight, 716, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Broadcasting live from Washington Mardi Gras. Yeah, I know it's cold back home, but I'm just reopening my weather app real quick. We're at 17 in Washington, D.C. right now. That is so ridiculous. 17. The walk over here. So I don't stay at the hotel, the main headquarters hotel. I stay near the main headquarters hotel. The walk over here, y'all, at it was 5 o'clock local time, 4 o'clock back home. But the walk over here was just, I mean, it like literally all you have to do is cross the street, and I was frozen, completely frozen, head to toe. Had the big coat on, had the stocking, my Borghardt Law hat on, my Borghardt Law cap on. Didn't help. None of it was good. None of it was working. It was just frozen from head to toe. 17. And that's on its way back up again. So, all right. We got a lot of ground to cover this morning. We got a lot of ground to cover in this segment. I tell you what, we're going to get back to guests in our next segment. Liz Russell's going to join us. We're going to talk about everything coastal and environmental and what their mission is up here. Right now, though, this is still a morning show in Baton Rouge, and we do need to cover some news. Before we do that, what's going on here at Washington Mardi Gras is a pretty big news item back home. In fact, you heard from our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network. They covered this as well. It is, a political networking event like no other. There is no other state that can pull it off. Jeremy Alford's the publisher for LaPolitics.com, publisher and editor. He says, you've got the big ticket items like Friday night, the captain's dinner, Mardi Gras ball on Saturday, but the opportunities in front of everybody just to get together, just to meet, just for 5 minutes of coffee or whatever, they are seemingly endless. Cut 10, please.
Just a number of different hospitality suites and gatherings and cocktail parties that hosted everyone from parish presidents to chambers of commerce to city governments to universities.
I'm in one of those hospitality suites right now, LSU Alumni. They throw a couple of different individual parties along the way. There's going to be a watch party for the women's basketball game tonight. And all the while, there's going to be folks, showing off what LSU is, what their value is to Louisiana as a brand, what their value is to not just our population, but our bottom line. It's watch party tonight, another watch party on Saturday, and then there's a couple of other get-togethers in between where they open up the doors of the hospitality suite and they say, "Hey, everybody, come on down. Let us show you what LSU means to everybody." And this isn't the only one. There are 4 on the hallway that I'm in. I'm right next to Lake Charles has a big hospitality suite next door to me over here. Congresswoman Letlow is behind me as far as her hospitality suite is concerned. Downstairs, there's a whole row of hospitality suites with a lot of Louisiana's delegation. ULL's down to theirs as well. It's just there's 2 solid floors worth of just different great aspects of Louisiana looking to tell their own story or share what they've got going on and why we've got so much of a good thing happening. Meanwhile, Jeremy Alford says there are big issues and storylines in the backdrop of this year's Washington Mardi Gras. Cut 11.
We've got Congress debating what could be another government shutdown. There's a very contested and hot U.S. Senate race going on, and we're entering a new congressional cycle as well.
Alford says with this year being an election year, candidates running for U.S. Senate and the now open 5th congressional district seat will use this event to secure campaign donations. Cut 12.
This is an event that's not only populated by elected officials and operatives and campaign consultants and especially lobbyists, but it's also populated by those donors that these candidates need to get in touch with.
So we're going to talk about that a little bit in just a little bit. Let me take a quick second to remind you about Industry Makes. IndustryMakes.org is the website. IndustryMakes.org is the website. You want to talk about making your voice heard. That's what Industry Makes does all the time for all the plants up and down the river, manufacturing sector, the industry sector in Louisiana. Having a shared voice is unbelievably important for them because all too often we take for granted what they do. From the shoes on our feet to the products essential to our healthcare, Louisiana's industries are in the business of making it all. Our industries not only make the products the world needs, but they engineer the innovations that the world demands for a safer and more sustainable future, all the while creating quality jobs, a predictable and stable tax base, better schools, and a better quality of life for our state. Look, you know what they say. Let others make noise. We'll make everything else. IndustryMakes.org. Talk about lining things up and what's going down at Washington Mardi Gras. The Senate race is one that is this is one that's on my top of my checklist here, because we're going to learn a lot about how this thing is going to play out based off of what's going on just within the people inside the hospitality suites as you make your way up and down the hallways around here. Like I said, Congresswoman Letlow, she's got a suite right down the hallway. Senator Cassidy's got a suite down on the first floor, or the lobby floor. Technically, I'm on the first floor right now. And I haven't seen who else has got, if there are other candidates that have suites along the way. But it's not about who's got it. It's not just about who's got a suite. It's about who's making the rounds, who's pressing the flesh, who's making sure that everybody is seen, everyone is heard, everyone is tended to, which it's going to be, the launching pad as the year wears on, and we only have half the year in order to get it done. It actually is an opportunity for some of the lesser known candidates. Like you got Cassidy, you got Fleming, you got Letlow, but like a guy like Blake Miguez, who is really, really well known in Southwest Louisiana, might not be as well known in Northeast Louisiana. This would be a shining opportunity for him to hit up a couple of suites where, people don't know him already. This would be a shining opportunity for him to hit up hospitality parties for, let's say the city of Monroe, or let's say Shreveport, or let's say, anything, the North Shore, you name it. Just get to a place where people might not already know you and get yourself known. That's what's so great about this being so compact. The Senate race is just one that's being looked at up here. I think that 5th congressional district race is going to be hotter than anything. And oh, by the way, I'm sure you all saw this yesterday. Former Louisiana 6th District Congressman Garrett Graves, who represented Louisiana's Bayou, Capital, and River regions, much of which consists of the current 5th congressional district, made a statement yesterday. He said, quote, "We are thankful for all of the strong support and encouragement to run for Congress in the newly opened 5th congressional district race. This is not the time nor office that makes sense. I will not be running for Congress this election. There is a strong demand for people-focused representation and leadership in Louisiana. I am confident the right opportunity will help fill this void. I'm confident the right opportunity to help fill this void will arise in the future. So that was the big news yesterday. Garrett Graves saying he was not jumping in the 5th Congressional District race, which instantly triggered Dixon McMakin to get in it, because if you'll recall, State Representative McMakin was on this show a couple of weeks ago, and he basically said, if Garrett's out, I'm in, which I thought was an interesting tactic to say, I want to be your congressman unless ... And when he made the argument, when he made his case on that, he made a lot of sense. He said, I want to serve the 5th Congressional District, but more importantly, I want to make sure the 5th District is served. All too often, you see politicians run for office because they want to run for office. What Representative McMakin said was, Garrett's going to be the best guy for this job. I'm the second best. So if Garrett's out, I'm in. It's just so unusual to see a politician put the job above their own aspirations. In fact, quite often we see the exact opposite. Let's rewind the clock back to 2023 when we had our state treasurer's race. And John Fleming said, I want to be treasurer so that I can run for Senate. Said that. Like out loud. Told the people of Louisiana, my political aspirations are more important than your treasurer's job. And he won. And now he's running for Senate. So there's a level of humility to what Representative McMakin had to say. And now that Graves is out and Dixon's in, then we'll see how it plays out. We'll see if who's got the ground game to cover the 5th Congressional District, because the 5th Congressional District does involve a ground game. I mean, you got to get up in Washington Parish and Washita Parish. You got to talk to both the cows in Tensaw Parish. And then swing it right through here. Not right through here, but right through Baton Rouge along the way. Hallways are going to be buzzing in a couple hours. That's the long and the short of that song. All right. I want to pivot over, talk about one more topic before we move on in this segment. And my apologies. When I'm on the road, I've got to run everything out of one computer, like all the video and all that other good stuff. So it takes some toggling. Also, I'm not 100% because I didn't get in town till well after midnight. The other topic I want to talk about is, hey, we picked up some people in the state of Louisiana last year. U.S. Census Bureau says between July 1st, 2024 and June 30th, 2025, Louisiana added about 3,300 people to its population total. Demographer Greg Rigamer says that net increase still does not get Louisiana's population back to the level at the beginning of the decade, cut 7.
This is good. We're not losing population as we have, but we have lost a significant amount of population since 2020. We're down about 40,000 people.
I don't even want to look at 2020 as the benchmark number here. I want Louisiana to get back to having 7 congressional districts. And that should be the goal, right? That should be the goal, to add another congressional district, to increase our voice in Washington, to get us back population-wise to a spot where we know we're being heard. And by the way, with the level that Louisiana outpunches its weight class in Washington, D.C., can you imagine if we had a 7th congressperson? Crazy. Rigamer says Louisiana's population growth last year still pales in comparison to the gains experienced by neighboring states like Texas, Tennessee, Florida, and North Carolina. Cut 8.
We have a very low per capita and median household income. And income is what really drives people to a place.
So look at that. Oh, and I was having this discussion on a radio show in New Orleans on Tuesday afternoon, actually. Corey Johnson. I was talking to I hop on his show every Tuesday. And I was talking about that. Where we're at right now, we're in a hold pattern or just a pause pattern, if you will. Last year, billions upon billions of dollars worth of investment were announced for the state of Louisiana. This year, they haven't all come to fruition yet, but they're on their way. They're on their way. Susan Bourgeois, at every turn last year, was announcing new jobs. And we're in that spot right now where we're in between what was announced and what's actually getting paid. By the way, a little programming note, Susan Bourgeois is going to join us tomorrow morning, 7:35 until 8. Got her down for 7:35 to 8 tomorrow morning to talk about all of it from that which has been announced, that which is in the pipeline, that which is in the works, and honestly, what she's doing up here at Washington Mardi Gras to keep this ball rolling. Back to Greg Rigamer one more time. He says, however, the fact that Louisiana had a net increase is a good sign. I know we're not outpacing Texas or Tennessee or anything like that, but this is still good. We are still moving in the right direction. And if we can capitalize on that momentum, we can get it to increase. Cut 9.
There has been some big wins recently in Louisiana for economic development, and that's really great. And hopefully we can stop this trend of modest or no growth.
Coming up on 7:30 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Quick break. When we come back, we should have Liz Russell joining us next. Stick around. I got to find her. I'll be back.
$30 out.
Okay. I think my guest is in the elevator right now.
We were supposed to have Liz right here, huh?
Yes. No, you're fine. You're good. You're right on time. We're back in like 30 seconds.
Okay. State Director, Environmental Defense Fund for Louisiana, obviously.
736, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along, broadcasting live from Washington Mardi Gras. Going to be doing this all morning, well, till 9 o'clock this morning, and then 4 to 6 this afternoon. Of course, we're right back at it 6 till 9 tomorrow morning, and then 4 to 6 on Friday afternoon as well. And, of course, our coverage of Washington Mardi Gras is brought to you by Presley Wealth Management, the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association, Baton Rouge Metro Airport, Rev and Restore the Mississippi River Delta, and that's kind of where we're going here is to talk about what's going on in the environmental world and the protecting Louisiana's coast, restoring, rebuilding, all of it. We've got Liz Russell in with us. Liz, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing very well.
Icy.
So, yes, 17 it is right now.
It is cold and icy outside.
Yes, very, very much so. And it's all stacked up like that.
It is stacked up.
Everything that came through on Saturday is still there today.
It is still there.
Just pushed us.
Crossing every intersection is an adventure.
It is brutal.
Especially in my Mardi Gras shoes. I'm not going to lie.
Well, so those are festive. I like that.
Thank you.
So let's start with this. Give us some background on what the Environmental Defense Fund does.
Yeah. So we do a lot of work. We've historically done a lot of work in the state of Louisiana to ensure originally the establishment of the Coastal Protection Restoration Authority, but also more broadly that we invest in a coastal master plan that supports the resilience of Louisiana's communities and economies, that we have science-based and data-driven ecosystem restoration and to mitigate the effects of coastal land loss to all of our homes and businesses.
So that sounds pretty straightforward, but it gets, pardon the pun, it'll get muddy from there.
Sure.
How does it get muddy?
Well, I mean, it's been muddy throughout the entire history, but the mud is shifting right now, I'll say.
Okay.
You know, I want to remind everybody that Southern Louisiana was built over thousands of years by the Mississippi River, right? The river's purpose is to get to the Gulf by the shortest and steepest route. It has always changed course and built land in an incredible way. All the way from Bayou Teche, all the way to Blackman's Parish, we have seen the land building potential of the river, and that's how we have the vibrant communities, wetlands, and culture that we have today.
Right.
So after Hurricanes Katrina and Rita, the state established the Coastal Protection Restoration Authority, pulled staff from different parts of different state agencies, DOTD, Wildlife and Fisheries, et cetera, to really stand up a process that was data-driven to actually address the impacts of coastal land loss, the way that those had showed up in those two storm events in the coastal system. And for 20 years, we've had a data-driven approach to invest in regional ecosystem-based restoration, as well as data-driven risk reduction measures like levees, dikes, and dams, but also home elevations and eventually voluntary acquisitions or buyouts for people who want them. And so now we're in a place where I think there's some questions about the future of the program.
Okay.
And I hope, you know, this year's annual plan is an opportunity for folks to lean in. I'll say the CPRA released the annual plan on December 10th. Folks have the opportunity to comment until Mardi Gras Day, until February 17th. So maybe we want to get those comments in now. But it's really important that we acknowledge the sort of scale of the crisis that we're facing and make investments that meet the scale of that land loss crisis.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, and I can ask a couple questions that I kind of know the answer to. Is it getting worse or is it getting better?
Which part?
Let's start with this. when we talk about coastal erosion, we hear about losing, a
Yeah.
football field every so often or whatever.
Yes.
Are we getting better at fighting that and pushing back on that front? Are we getting better at rebuilding?
Yeah, we have been. We used to say we lose a football field of land every hour. Now it's down to a football field of land every 90 minutes, right? So it prolonging the time. We've been making historic investments in marsh creation projects and ecosystem restoration. The Barrier Island projects have received huge investment across really Southeast Louisiana. And then Southwest Louisiana, there's actually a project receiving more funding in this year's annual plan around the hydrologic restoration and marsh creation in Southwest Louisiana.
Okay, so in we got to talk specifically about Southwest in a little bit because that's their own thing.
Yeah,
like they're a different problem than Southeast.
They are, and South Central, I'll say, right? I mean,
everywhere the river could have gone,
exactly.
I kind of lump that all into one.
Sure. And the river does go, right? The Atchafalaya Basin, that is where the river wants to go. We keep it going through Baton Rouge and New Orleans because of the tremendous industrial activity, as well as all of the communities that exist along the river corridor, including the major cities.
Right.
But, in the Atchafalaya Basin, you actually see the land building power of the river every year. I have the privilege of spending a lot of time in the basin, and there's new land being built south of Morgan City by the river, both through the Wax Lake Delta as well as through the Atchafalaya rivers.
Okay.
But also, every time the river floods, the river goes high in the spring, the land in the basin is higher.
Yeah.
It's really incredible to watch, and the way that the habitat changes, the strength of the cypress and tupelo forests, the hardwood bottomland forest in the basin is incredible.
So when you talk about, doing this data-driven and science-based and all that other good stuff, the Atchafalaya Basin is data. It is science. It is visually putting eyes on what the potential is, what the possibilities are.
I think so.
So, because there are many different ways to build coastline. There are many different ways to protect us. There are, how do you, and this is where things get muddy again.
Sure.
Is you end up with political divisions on which is the best, and do we only do the best?
Yeah.
So,
we should be using all the tools in the toolbox, right? And I would say the Mississippi River is a land building machine. It just builds land. That's what it does.
Right.
We at Environmental Defense Fund, and more broadly at the Mississippi River Delta Coalition, we support large scale river reintroduction. We think that utilizing the river is critical. It is just what the river does, right? We should absolutely also be using the other tools with dredging and marsh creation. We should be supporting our fisheries and adapting to changing salinities already. I think something we don't talk about enough is the reality that in coastal Louisiana, you always have freshwater areas and saltwater areas, and there's a sort of gradient between them, right? And we have different Louisiana seafood across that entire gradient. We have crawfish and crabs in the more freshwater areas. We have oysters in the more brackish areas. Shrimp actually reproduce kind of across the brackish to salty spectrum. And then obviously our incredible recreational fisheries and finfish populations. So I'll just say, but all of those, right, are looking for different salinities. And so how can we've been dealing with saltwater intrusion. We've been dealing with those salinities changing. How do we support our fisheries? How do we support our fishing communities and our fishermen better in adapting to those changes?
We're talking with Liz Russell from the Environmental Defense Fund about coastal protection, coastal restoration, and not just where we are, but where we're headed as well. Mm-hmm. Where are we headed?
Yeah. So I think there's an opportunity now, right? In the past year, we have seen this administration cancel and the Landry administration cancel the two mid sediment diversions, right? Mid-Barataria and Mid-Breton.
Yeah.
And so now I think there's a question we've seen the administration say we're going to move forward with a smaller diversion, but that is years in the making, right? It's years in sort of permitting and design, and before you even get to breaking ground. So I think there's a moment where folks are looking for what are the solutions to meet the scale. If it's not those two projects,
why would we nix the Mid-Barataria and Mid-Breton only to come back with other? I understand nixing them if you don't believe that a sediment diversion would work, but if you believe a sediment diversion would work, but you want to just do it on a smaller scale, it's it just begs the question of well, why bother?
Why bother? Yeah, I mean, there's different analyses even being developed now around whether a smaller scale diversion designed with a sort of pulsing, so it's not on all the time, which Mid-Barrett area was never designed to be on all the time, but releasing that fresh water at intervals across to really only do it at certain points in the fisheries and in the high river cycle where it makes sense. But I think that's a real question. Why did the projects go away? I think there's lots of potential answers to that question, but we've heard a lot about culture. We've heard a lot about cost. We absolutely should be supporting our fisheries. We have seen projects across the coastal plan and actually across all types of public investment balloon in cost. We've seen that in our private lives, right? The cost of inflation, the cost to build a house is really different now. Get your new roof on, get your fortified program. All of that has increased, right? So this is not new and it's not foreign, but we do need to make investments in projects that meet the scale of the land loss challenge. We need to make investments in a way that acknowledges sort of the multiple lines of defense, right? We don't want to just have levees next to open salt water.
Right.
We need to have levees and swamp and marsh, right? And have the barrier islands. And we need to have all sorts of ways to reduce our risk across that spectrum.
We've got can I keep you till the top of the hour?
Yeah.
All right, because I'm already looking at the clock, and we're gonna have to break in about 3 minutes.
Okay.
We'll have a 4 minute.
Sure.
I want to make sure we pay attention to Southwest Louisiana, so we'll save that to the second part of this. Okay. So let's continue on with this right here. Is there a possibility that we could see a day where we actually gain land?
I mean, we are gaining land in places where the river is actually able to build land.
Okay.
But in terms of a net gain, I think, you see that over 10, 25, 50 years, the projections for subsidence or for sea level rise, those change what our possibilities are to build land.
Okay.
But we are able to sort of hold the line with the scale of investment that meets the challenge, right? And using all those tools in the toolbox. But there is a reason that CPRA always worked from a 50-year, $50 billion plan, because that does give us some parameters. What do we think we could raise in terms of capital? What do we think we could spend and get out the door? We should be investing in projects in a way that supports Louisiana businesses. How do we make sure local people, local working people, and local businesses are actually getting the procurement opportunities that come from the master plan, that come from the Deepwater Horizon settlement, and that come from other funding opportunities like GOMESA that are available to us over time?
How much does the changing of political winds affect a 50-year plan?
Yeah,
because nobody's in office for 50 years.
No, and I think that's a great question. That is one of the successes of the Coastal Master Plan throughout the 20 years, is that regardless of whether it was Kathleen Blanco or Bobby Jindal or John Bell Edwards, you had a consistency in the Coastal Master Plan. Whether it was produced every 5 or 6 years, we had to go back to the data and the science for where we thought we could restore, where we thought we could mitigate land loss, where we thought we could slow it. From all sorts of variables are put into the Coastal Master Plan and the modeling. It's a very intensive process that's not a short period, right? It actually takes a number of years to do the modeling, and to open up for public opportunities to submit projects ideas, to put those through the models and see how they perform. So I think that's something that sometimes we forget about, is that every one of these coastal projects has gone through a really rigorous interrogation in the master plan.
Yeah.
How well are they going to perform? How are they going to deal with subsidence? How are they going to perform in the context of rising sea levels? And so in that context, we can't just move away willy-nilly, right? We have to have that rigor because we do have limited capital. We're not able to just have funding forever.
You opened another Pandora's box. A whole separate, the capital part of this conversation is a big part of this conversation as well. We're going to break it right here. We're going to pick it up on the backside. We're going to check your money now. We're going to check traffic. When we continue, we'll talk about the Southwest Coast, Southwest Louisiana, their coastal problems and how they're different. Before we hit that break, get our reminder about 5-Star Printing and Signs. Printshop5.com is the website. 271-4096 is the phone number. Get a hold of Danny and his team. Look, it is going to be a busy election year. If you're thinking about running for office at any level, Danny's got you covered. This is his wheelhouse. Talk about the yard signs. Talk about the door hangers. Talk about the brochures. Talk about the mailers. Talk about any printed items that your campaign can think of. 271-4096. And oh, by the way, if you're not sure about your schemes and your themes and whatnot, collab with them a little bit. Give Danny Paling a call, 271-4096 or printshop5.com.
Sorry for my.
You're good. You're good. With me getting in after midnight last night, I did not get a chance to get over here to the suite and
my gosh.
set everything up. So this was what
It
I was.
looks great.
Well, this is internet. No, this is all their thing. I mean, like set up my stuff
Your
for the
stuff.
yeah.
Okay.
So this table is what I was. This was what was in here at 5:00 this morning.
You got it.
So
it works.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a little bit jumbled up, but it stays off camera, so that's
Very
good.
good. I want to make sure I hit a couple of things on the Southwest Louisiana project.
Yeah.
I don't usually pull from notes, but for project details, I want to hit a couple of things. So are you here through the weekend?
I fly home on Saturday. I don't go to the ball,
Mhm.
so that's just
Same.
yeah. I everybody tells me I need to go to the ball at least once, and
I went
I'm
a
like,
couple of years ago.
I'm not
It's
gonna.
fine.
Yeah, my wife's at home with the kids, and I bail on Wednesday. So
I got the same.
guilt, just
Yeah.
total guilt.
How old are your kids?
Well, one's in college now, and then one's in 8th grade, one's in 4th grade. So 13 and 9.
Go back to you.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I can't wait to hug up for too long.
7:54, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Halliday, rolling right along. Bought a couple of extra minutes with Liz Russell because we're talking about the coast. And I'm glad we did it this way, Liz, because Southwest Louisiana has a different set of problems than Southeast or South Central Louisiana. And I don't think gets the same level of attention because the Mississippi River is kind of a big deal. And the
It's
Mississippi
kind of a
River
big
was
deal.
going to suck all the oxygen out of the room any room that it's in.
Sure.
So let's talk about what goes on in Southwest Louisiana and what we're doing about attacking it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I'll say, of course, yes, it's not connected to the river, but a lot of the sediment that comes from the river actually gets pushed through the longshore currents all the way down to Southwest. You know, in the annual plan this year, there's a massive restoration and investment in marsh creation and hydrologic restoration, and it's moving to construction after a lot of years in planning and development, and that's really exciting to see. You know, just in this next fiscal year, we expect to spend about $77 million of a $260 million project, and so that's really exciting for the people of Southwest Louisiana and for the businesses in that area. It's really a great example of where CPRA has followed the science, even when it meant sort of changing strategies on a project. It's a great example of the size of restoration projects that we need and the size of a project to meet the scale of the crisis. It's also a great example of where the state has leveraged expertise alongside the Corps and alongside local businesses in the private sector, where everybody's sort of able to contribute and get a piece of the pie. So it's exciting to see what is moving forward in Southwest. Really hopeful about that. I'm also excited about another project in the Maurepas area, the Maurepas River reintroduction, which actually broke ground last year. I'm a little fuzzy on exactly the moment. It is the only remaining sort of river diversion reintroduction project in the Landry administration, but it's a small amount of fresh water going into the Maurepas Swamp, but actually expected to benefit 45,000 acres, really, and is going to show us another example of what the river can do to not only build land, but also sustain the land that's there. Right. And that's another thing we don't always think about, and we kind of take for granted even, but the capacity of that fresh water and mud, right, to help sustain the land we already have. That project utilizes multiple funding streams, you know, $130 million of oil spill money that the state had to compete for. And it's being implemented in coordination with the West Shore Lake Pontchartrain levee system. So another example, right, of the multiple lines of defense, having the levees, investing in that structural risk reduction, but then also making sure we are investing in the river reintroduction, investing in the way to actually maintain those wetlands and have that gradient of fresh water to salt water.
Got just about 2 minutes left here, so I have a stack of questions still to get to. So let's go here. When you talk about spending money, you said $77 million of a $260 million project. That's a big chunk. That's just just over a quarter. From checks being written to us, like just the layperson seeing a difference and realizing what kind of work got done, what's the timeline on that?
You know, it certainly varies by project. It's some of that you can, you know, driving back and forth from New Orleans to Baton Rouge, you can see the West Shore Lake Pontchartrain project going up, the levee project going up. You can, you know, the river reintroduction in Maurepas Swamp. I think if you're driving down the river in Plaquemines Parish, Highway 23, you know, you can see the marsh creation if you drive over the levee. I think that's the same in Calcasieu and Cameron with these marsh creation projects and the hydrologic restoration there. So there is a value to being able to see it in real time, but I also think this is a place where government can do things at the scale that we can't as an individual parish or an individual municipality, right? So how do we think of that regional investment and really the responsibility of the state to be that regional leader, to make the investments that span parish boundaries? Because we all know that water doesn't follow them, right? The wind doesn't follow them when we see the storm events. So really appreciating the need for state leadership in those regional investments and investments that meet the scale of the challenge.
Unbelievable stuff. What do you think is like the top priority of the next, like, let's say 5 years?
Yeah, I think
we got 60 seconds to go, by the way.
Okay, thank you. Well, again, I think we need to be increasingly returning to the science-based processes for elevating projects that can perform over time, and not only be investments that perform in the short term. Oh, look, we can see that land tomorrow, but what's actually going to be durable and sustaining? How do we make investments that work for our kids and our grandkids? You know, we're just trading stories on that in the break, right? How do we make those kinds of investments? And so I really hope to see, sort of continued and also improved leadership from the state and the Landry administration in making those types of investments.
Unbelievable stuff. Great job. Thank you for sticking around for an extra segment. She's Liz Russell.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brian. Great to see you.
We are heads up 8 o'clock. Here comes news. Hour 3 is next.
Protect your retirement. The Presley Group time.
All right. I got a sec. Okay. Shoot.
We're not done yet.
Oh, let's go! Let's go!
More news, more newsmakers.
And we're in business.
Hour 3 of Mornings with Brian Haldane
My man's rocking the Ford Focus hatchback with a lot of energy, and I really love that.
starts now.
Giddy up.
.806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn back in the 180 Pro studio producing. I am not in the friendly confines of the 180 Pro studio. I am in the LSU Alumni Hospitality Suite at the Washington Hilton. We are broadcasting live for Washington Mardi Gras coming your way through 9 o'clock this morning. I'm in 4 to 6 this afternoon. Rinse and repeat for tomorrow. We'll be back at it for Mornings with Brian Haldane tomorrow, and then a special afternoon drive show tomorrow as well, as we bring you all the action of Washington Mardi Gras. Coming up this hour, looking forward to a couple of these conversations. Well, we're having 2 conversations this hour. One is with Friday Ellis. He is the mayor of Monroe. Now, Friday is not here in Washington, D.C. Friday had to stay home because Monroe got hit really hard by the winter storm. So we're going to have him on the hotline in our next segment. He'll be calling in to us. And then after that, we're going to talk with Chairwoman Darden from the Chitimacha tribe of Louisiana. When we talk about having different missions, everybody's got a different mission at Washington Mardi Gras. This is what we're talking about. Cannot wait to hear her story as well. Right now, though, you know what we do. We roll back the clock for this day in history.
There aren't many times when going backwards actually moves us forward, but this is one of those times.
Gotta get back in time.
This day in history.
You gotta come back with me.
Starting now on Talk 107.3.
All right, Bree Lynn, tell me everything now.
All right. In 1595, William Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet is thought to have been first performed, officially published early 1597.
No
Whoa.
kidding.
Way back when. I know.
I'm sure someone hated it too.
I'm sure. 1850, Senator Henry Clay drafts the Compromise of 1850 to diffuse tensions between slave states and free states over territories won during the Mexican-American War.
Okay. Is that the Missouri Compromise?
I want to say it is. Senator Henry Clay. It doesn't say, but I'm more than positive. 1861, Louisiana officially seceded from the United States on this day, January 29th, becoming the 6th state to leave the Union and join what would become the Confederacy. New Orleans was the largest and most economically important southern city at the time. Still is.
Well, yep. Is it?
I would say so, because we still have the port, you know?
Uh-huh.
I would say it's one of the most important cities.
Okay, but you got to ask, like, what do you consider a southern city? All right, so Atlanta's bigger than New Orleans.
True.
So, you know, and they got Delta and Home Depot and all that other stuff. Then, like, do you consider Miami to be a southern city? Because it's further south than us, but you never think of Miami as the south.
That's true. I mean, we got Mother's Po' Boys in New Orleans, though. That makes us important.
Sure. And then, of course, where do you classify Houston?
Right. Of course, you got to take all that into factors. Okay. 1979, U.S. President Jimmy Carter commutes. Patty Hearst is her 7-year jail sentence, 2 times served, 22 months.
Okay.
1984, President Reagan formally announces that he will seek a second term. 2002, U.S. President George W. Bush, in his State of the Union address, describes regimes that sponsor terror as the axis of evil, which includes Iraq, Iran, and North Korea.
Yup.
2006, The Saints were just coming off of their rebirth season. The Saints had just finished their first season back in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. The city was deep in the emotional glow of the season. You had Drew Brees, Sean Payton had officially changed everything, and forever thankful.
Yes, very much so.
2009 U.S. President Barack Obama signs his first bill into law, the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act of 2009. And then in 2015, I remember this. Malaysia officially declares the disappearance of that missing flight in an accident. Do you remember that?
I do.
They didn't know what happened to the plane. They still don't. I don't believe.
No, they don't. Still, I'm pretty sure it's still a mystery.
Right.
I don't know. I
think
stopped
so
paying
too.
attention.
Right. 2024 Suits was the most streamed show, followed by Bluey, then NCIS, according to Nielsen in 2024. And then also in 2024, Elon Musk tweets his company Neuralink has implanted a brain reading device into a person for the first time. Crazy.
Okay.
That's all I got. What about you?
Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven was first published on this day in 1845.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see.
Deep pull right there.
I know, right? Birthdays today, Madison Bailey, 27.
Who's that?
Oprah, let me click on her. She's from Outer Banks, and her first role on the show, Constantine, way back in the day.
Okay.
She began, she's notable for being in Outer Banks with Chase Stokes. That bitch show on Netflix. Okay. Oprah Winfrey is 72 today.
Okay.
Adam Lambert, know him from American Idol, 44. Lewis Pullman's 33. Tom Selleck, 81.
All right. That's, Tom Selleck and Oprah. Those would be your headliners today, right?
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Unfortunate deaths on this day. American football defensive end from the Philadelphia Eagles. He was also a broadcaster, Tom Brookshire. He passed away in 2010.
Okay.
Let me see. I'm scrambling to find notable ones. That's all I got. What about you, Brian?
I've got a frozen mouse.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, that one's probably the most notable. Now, today, notable day, Corn Chip Day. I don't see why Fritos has to have its own day, but I'll take it.
Oh, you know who died today? Alan Dulles.
Who's that?
Died on this day in 1969. A former U.S. diplomat before Kennedy and through Kennedy, and
okay,
had a lot of beef with Kennedy. So,
yep. Also today, National Puzzle Day. But if I'm going to go with one, I'm going to go with the Frito, National Corn Chip Day.
fine, they could have it. We are coming up on a break. When we come back, Monroe's Mayor Friday Ellis is slated to join us next. Before we take that break, I remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. Ooh, we need to draw a winner today. In fact, Bree Lynn will do that while we're having a couple of these conversations. Bree Lynn can draw a winner, and we'll announce the winner at the end of the show today. If you go to talk1073.com, you can sign up to win a king cake a week. We're giving away one per week at Mathern's. It's the Mathern's on Kenilworth is where you'll pick this up. It's also the Mathern's on Kenilworth where you're going to find your king cake headquarters. They've got the mother load over there. But sign up now at talk1073.com. Win yourself a king cake from Mathern's.
Hey, golf.
Brian, who's our next guest?
Friday Ellis.
Spell that first name.
Friday.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep. I gotta find a napkin real quick or something. My lip is bleeding for some reason. I'll be right back. It's 8:16 to talk 173 FM, WPRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Sorry for that extended bumper right there. Had to sneak over to the Lake Charles Hospitality Suite, Southwest Louisiana. They had a little breakfast going, and I was in desperate need of coffee, so I ran next door to go just sneak in, steal some, and come on back. So we're back at it, rocking and rolling here. Our next guest is not up at Washington Mardi Gras, though he was last year. He had more pressing matters to tend to as the city of Monroe got hit pretty hard with the winter storms over the past weekend. Mayor Friday Ellis is on with us. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good this morning. How are you?
I'm doing very well as well. I want to get to what the normal Washington Mardi Gras conversation, but I would be bearing the lead if I didn't start with give me the progress report on recovery from the storm.
Yeah, so this thing has a name now, and it is for Northeast Louisiana. It's total devastation. Since I've been in office, we've handled probably 4 natural disasters since we've been up here through tornadoes, straight winds, that category 1 hurricane that blew through here years ago with Ida. But this is something that we've never witnessed before. Energy's grid is completely destroyed. We still have homes without power. They've been without power for 5, almost 6 days now. It won't be till Saturday until some people get their power restored. And driving, through and on the ground, it is just total devastation. Trees everywhere. It looks as if a hurricane has blown through Northeast Louisiana.
And some would argue worse, because with a hurricane, once it's over with, it's over with. With this storm, with a winter storm like this, it's just frozen and out there. Have y'all had? What's the remnants like as far as thaw is concerned and the like? Have y'all gotten back up above freezing enough to get some work done?
It is. You're going to have your temperatures during the day get up into the 40s, but at night it goes back to freezing weather. And so a lot of this stuff that melts, you'll still see ice on the road, making conditions for these large trucks and energy very tricky. But, to your point, there's still a lot of trees that are going to be hung up in these canopies that when, high winds come through here, they're going to fall back down. We're going to be dealing with this, months after this thing has first wave of this happens. And so really my days have been really trying to coordinate who needs meals, trying to coordinate these volunteer efforts, coordinating with energy. Been on the phone yesterday with the Speaker's office, Congressman Mike Johnson, with Congresswoman Letlow's office, with a lot of our members talking about and sending images of what we're seeing here so they can help make the case for any type of disaster relief funds. Small businesses have been shuttered. People can't be able to get out of their homes to get to work. And so there's a lot of people hurting right now, and it's our job, as leaders, to help shepherd them through this, get them the relief and the supplies that they need. And I'll tell you, and I'll say this, and I'll put our people up against anybody. There's so many volunteers lined up. My whole inbox is filled with people cooking meals, delivering meals, helping their neighbors. The positives about this: 0 deaths in Ouachita Parish related to this as of yet. Very few house calls when it comes to houses that have caught on fire after, the energy comes back on. They may have a space heater and something's over it, may have left the house. And just very fortunate for our first responders, the linemen for energy, everybody pulling together.
Monroe Mayor Friday Ellis is our guest, talking a little bit about the winter storm that rolled through. Mayor Ellis, when you led with trees, it led me to believe that there's not that much devastation when it comes to homes. How much was there on the home front? Like how many folks have been displaced?
So our shelter has seen probably about 150 plus people at our warming shelter. A handful of those anecdotally have been because of house damage. We're already starting the blue tarp assessment with our public works crews. Our firefighters, they're sending drones up looking at house damage, just starting to 211. Few other folks are just trying to, make note of everything. The fire department, police department, all of those calls, we're trying to log and keep good data.
And on the business front, you alluded to a little bit of it, but expound upon that. On the business front, what are we looking at as far as like closures and whatnot are concerned?
Yeah, so everybody's home. There's just a handful of small businesses here that are actually operating. And but I can tell you from a small business, all the restaurants, they made good use of the things that were in their freezers. They're lined up. Chef Corey Barr, was on the horn last night with Chef Jose Andreas Foundation to have some folks to operate out of his kitchen. And I'm telling you, the volunteer effort here is tremendous. And our people, always have a way of showing up. And so I just want to just give a huge shout out to all of those folks. It's very heartwarming to see, but that's us. That's Louisiana. That's who we are. And damn proud to be able to serve our people in this manner.
We got Monroe's Mayor Friday Ellis Monroe's Mayor Friday Ellis with us for a couple more minutes here, talking a little bit about the devastation in their backyard. Have you been given timelines on when there's federal funds to come through? Timelines on getting checks in people's hands, or are we too soon on that discussion?
I think we're too soon. Right now we're waiting for that Category A classification, so that will kind of help bring some more federal dollars down. I know the governor flew in. I really appreciate his time here on the ground. He flew in. Philip May with Energy came in, and the governor's number one priority, as he said, is up in D.C. asking for this federal funds to tell these stories, recount these stories. I mean, I'm the mayor of Monroe, but I'm hearing stories from East and West Carroll Parish where farmers are having to bring in water tankers to help hospitals, with water. It really is total devastation up here, and it's widespread. It's not just Monroe. And I kind of remind our people about this. This isn't a Monroe, West Monroe, Richwood, Sterlington issue, Ouachita Parish issue. The freeze line goes all the way down to Leesville. I mean, It goes, and, this storm extended all the way up into Tennessee. And, the airport is back up and running, our central services, at one point we were a little touch and go about power in our storage tanks with water. However, we stayed up and rolling, and it has been it really is. These created lots of challenges, especially freezes in Louisiana, because these are the ones we just really, in a sense, don't necessarily prepare for, but it sounds as if that blue sky planning is going to have to lead to some more preparation with shared equipment pools with a lot of our DOTD districts to talk about the equipment we need to get past a lot of this.
Let's use it as a chance to pivot over to Washington Mardi Gras, because you were up here for this last year. The plan was for you to be up here again. So I want to talk about when you're in Washington for Washington Mardi Gras, what's your mission?
Oh, yeah. So to really advocate for a lot of big projects that we have, especially from the economic development front, you see the investment from Meta, all the infrastructure that will be needed to stand up more. Our Regional Economic Development Organization is sitting on 58 RFPs. And what that means in the form of investment, that's an additional $20 billion of new investment and a potential for over 10,000 new jobs in this region. And it's really advocating for the infrastructure that will be needed for them to be shovel ready if they choose our area. It's also talking about some of the other needs that we need. We talked about water capacity, sewer capacity to be able to handle these new investments. It's about capacity building in our school systems, capacity building in our workforce to sustain these projects. And so it really is talking about all of the pieces that need to be invested in today to sustain these investments, 10, 15, 20 years from down the road.
And how do you go about that? Because, I mean, with so many people under one roof over here in Washington, at Washington Mardi Gras, you got to have a plan of attack, man.
Yeah, it's individual meetings, not only with our members, it's individual meetings with the divisions and departments, DOTD, right? It's meeting with folks from Commerce that talks about broadband expansion efforts that the city of Monroe is doing to find additional dollars that are in these buckets. Passenger rail expansion that's happening right now between Mississippi and Louisiana. It's really, our team is kind of divide and conquer. While I'm in meetings with our members, they are my staff is in meetings with the folks that we're applying for grants, big buckets of money for big projects that will be pulling down. A new interchange, right? It's our folks asking for the new interchange there at Millhaven to open up new sites for our area. Our staff is up there right now with DOTD members meeting.
How much of since the Meta announcement, I mean, how much have you been able to ride that and spin it into other wins?
Well, you're talking 6,000 new people in your region. A bulk of those are in Monroe. Sales taxes in November were up 28.9%, and they continue to rise.
Already?
Sterlington saw a 40% increase in their taxes. And in the month of November, Washington Parish alone saw a bump of $18 million in new sales tax collections. And so I can tell you right now, we have had a tremendous need for housing in our region. Monroe's kind of landlocked. We don't have large swaths of land to be able to go out and build. However, we can go vertical. We've got developers looking right now on, lots of city-owned properties within Monroe to be able to go vertical for apartment housing. And so we're already starting to see it, even from business license permits going up, pieces of property that are being purchased for feedstock right now for the construction. And so it's wild. It's great to see.
So with the data center itself, I mean, we're just it's not open and operational yet, right? I mean, it's still in the building stages.
Yeah, correct. And so you've got close to 6,000 new workers in your region,
right?
Staying in your hotels, eating at your restaurants, shopping at your stores. This is, you think about it, 6,000 people. It's in Holly Ridge, Louisiana. Rayville, Louisiana, where I grew up, is a population of 2,200 people. So you've just tripled people within your backyard. These small businesses that are catering for 5,000 people on site, they're reaping the benefits of this. And so, but I think that was an intentional step by the Chamber of Commerce, the City of Monroe, the Richland Parish Chamber of Commerce, all pulling together to connect your own people to the resources that are already out there. You'll start looking at some of the reports from these small businesses that went from 14 employees now to 120 employees to be able to expand their businesses, to be able to go out there, scale their business, to get more employment. Anecdotally, I've got a friend of mine who has a haul off business that started with maybe like 5 trucks. He's up to like 20 trucks right now. And these are all local people connected directly to the site. But again, those were intentional steps that we worked with the 3 main contractors to be able to open opportunities for local people to gain business out on that site.
Now, this is all in construction end. I mean, obviously it's going to scale back a good bit once it's operational and self-functioning and whatnot. What are you doing right now to make sure once it's scaled back like that, the peripheral wins can be capitalized upon?
Yeah. If you think about it, let's just say the 500 jobs at $80,000 a year, that's $40 million in additional payroll that's being dumped into your community. The folks that are here that will be coming in from out, they're not going to hire everybody local. So let's just say you move some folks here, their wives or their husbands are going to backfill a job. They may have traveling income because they work remotely.
Yeah.
That income's coming back to our region as well. Their kids are in our schools, so that's more MSP for our school districts. Meta is making, investments into nonprofits and workforce space. I know they're working with ULM and Louisiana Delta Community College to stand up the workforce programs that are going to be needed to sustain this. But if you think about this, phase 1 of this is going to be 4 million square feet under roof. Think about all of the low voltage people that are going to be needed to help sustain this. All of the suppliers and vendors that are going to be setting up around it, that we know in those RFPs that we mentioned. So, I tell people all the time, they may look at this and say it's only 500 jobs. But I remind folks that the last time that 500 jobs left our community devastated a region. It was the guide plant. It was a headlight plant that GM had here. And when those families left, they left to go to, Ohio or wherever it was. And that money left our community. And when people think about this, our region is, the 5th Congressional District is, when we talk about it, it's not really a point to really brag about, but it is one of the, most resource-strapped congressional districts in the U.S. Yep. And for something like this is a shot in the arm. And when you talk about Richland Parish in the next 10 years to see hundreds of millions of dollars in property and sales taxes injected into their community, right now they're making the right steps to do proper resource planning and space planning and logistics planning for zoning these areas to ensure that they're making the best use of their land. They're doing the right thing, and I'm so proud of my friends over there. And I want to say this: this should be an example of how regional leaders, regional chambers are helping each other grow and expand and build capacity in one another, work together, get our locals connected to opportunities on site.
Yeah.
And, did we do everything right? No, but I'll tell you what, we've done everything we can to ensure that our people are getting connected and finding opportunity while they can.
Okay, so I just texted my producer to let her know we're going to run a little bit long here because I got to keep you for one more question. It's a question I was going to table considering everything else that's going on, but you keep mentioning regional. I would be remiss if I didn't ask. You are a mayor whose star is on the rise. You are in a congressional district that is up for grabs. Do you have that inkling? Are we going to see a congressional candidate, Friday Ellis, anytime soon?
No, not. I'll tell you this. This is why. When I signed up to be mayor 4 years ago, I made a commitment to the people of Monroe, Louisiana. I made a commitment that I will see them through some growth. And look, I'll tell you this. We've checked off pretty much 90% of the things we said we would accomplish in our time in Monroe, and we did it in 4.5 years. However, right now, I think they need a leader at the helm that's going to help them through this transition to help build their communities. With this new growth that's coming this way. And we didn't work this hard to lay down roots and to set a base that's setting us up for prosperity in the future for me to abandon them now. Monroe is a regional resource. It's the healthcare hub. It's the education hub. It is the employment hub for an entire region. And the decisions we make have to take that in mind. And so I am flattered by those who have asked me to get in this race. It really is just a kind of a vote of confidence in your leadership. However, the people of Monroe, I feel that there's so much work to be done. And guess what? I don't want to be a politician that moves and looks for the next opportunity. I want to be a public servant that says your people will put you in your next position. I want to be able to look back and say, here are the things that I've accomplished to earn your vote. And if I can't do that, then what are we doing this for? And so my mind is focused right now on the city of Monroe and this region, and it'll continue to focus there. And when God says to move and your people say it's time, it's time.
He is Monroe Mayor Friday Ellis. Very well said. We miss you up here in D.C., but we know you're doing good work back home. We'll talk to you soon, friend. Man. Absolutely.
Thank you.
8:33 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We blew right past ABC News. I don't care. It was important. I wanted to ask that last question. So, quick break, come back. We're going to talk with Melissa Darden coming up next. Hey, Breland, we clear?
Yeah, we're clear.
Okay. I want that last question, audio only, no video on it, because he's obviously not here. But that is a post, okay? Me asking and him saying no is a long, eloquent answer. But if we got room for the whole thing, that is, I mean,
I'm going to fly it in Canva. Do you want me to do kind of what we did with Lamont and
yes,
just put his headshot up?
That is right. That is exactly what I want. Perfect.
I'm going to work on can I wait till after the show?
Of course.
Okay.
It's not, that's not a minute by minute thing. That's like
in case you missed it, yeah. And
well,
in case you missed it, he's not in DC. Right
now, like this morning, that is breaking news this morning. So I would put breaking in front of it.
Okay, cool.
Because like just as big of a deal it is in Baton Rouge that Garrett's not running, in Monroe it's a big deal that he's not running. So for the whole district, it's a big deal that he's not running.
I know. I loved his answer. I saw you live. You were going yes.
Oh, he's such a stud.
He's well spoken.
No,
too.
he's
Very
more
well-spoken.
than, but he's legit too. Like he's not just polished. He's the true gold. So it's I really, really, really like that guy. That's what I'm saying right there. So, all right, let me go grab my next guest, and then I'll be right back.
Okay.
8:33 and talk with. So, quick break, come back. 8:33 and talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Talk to you soon, man. Absolutely. Let me set up another headset. And YouTube can be Lake Charles Hospitality Suite, Southwest Louisiana.
Now a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
Yeah. So I just didn't know Ryan was talking yesterday. You were looking for different things. So hey. And that's what you said you're thinking.
For resource left to go those RFPs that we mentioned. So I'm so proud of my friends over there. And to be, I want to say this. This should be an example of how the 15 families left jobs left. All about this. They may have their wife. Yeah. If you think about it, regional, everything we can ensure that our people are getting the opportunities on site.
You are in a congressional district that is up for grabs.
Yeah.
All right, so y'all go ahead and grab these seats, grab those headsets. They'll be on it. By the way, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you. You've already. I would be remiss. But that's yes. Very few people realize that I don't know is an acceptable answer.
Well, no, but I can still find out.
Ooh, that kind of moon.
And the part that I love about that is it's future content. It covers another segment. 1, 2, 1. Okay, so I'm on. All right, Bree Lynn.
Hey.
Okay, so I've got two guests, so I'm stepping off camera.
Okay.
It was what, Abear?
Skylar.
Skylar Abear.
You want me to tell you how to spell it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Skylar,
please.
Can you spell that for me?
SCHUYLAR. And
Hold on,
Abear is
spell it one more time.
SCHUYLAR.
Okay, and then I know Abear. Okay, how do you spell the other one?
Abear is HEBERT.
Oh,
Okay.
so no, Melissa Darden, 1 L, 2 S's, DARDEN. Not like the former lieutenant governor.
Okay.
2 N's and an
Gotcha.
E. He's just cheating at Scrapple's what he's doing. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along, broadcasting live from Washington Mardi Gras. Don't forget our coverage of Washington Mardi Gras brought to you by a number of different great businesses back home. Of course, we got the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association. We got Fly BTR, Baton Rouge Metro Airport. Rev is on board. Restore the Mississippi River Delta is on board. And I got to tell you, for a quick second, let me tell you about Presley Wealth Management, a financial planning firm from Denham Springs, Louisiana. You know Christy Smith. You know Matt Kennedy. They've been on, Matt's been a Baton Rouge staple on the radio for 1 billion years. That's like literally 1 billion years now. He was my mentor in radio, and now he's off making folks a whole lot of money for their retirement over at Presley Wealth Management. If you want to learn more, visit them online at PresleyWealthManagement.com, PresleyWealthManagement.com. Of course, you can hear them Saturdays and Sundays right here on Talk 107.3 FM. But I would start with PresleyWealthManagement.com for getting a hold of the good folks over at Presley Wealth Management. Also, call them 791-5773, 791-5773. Of course, that is in the 225. All right, pivoting over. Told you at the beginning of the show, one of the things I love about Washington Mardi Gras is how there's a million different stories to be told, missions to be carried out. Everybody comes together under this one roof at the Washington Hilton. Did you think when you tuned into the radio this morning that we'd be talking about the Chitimacha tribe and what their mission is here at Washington Mardi Gras? I want to welcome their chairman, Melissa Darden, and you said commissioner?
Councilman,
sorry, Skylar Abear. Welcome aboard. How are y'all this morning?
We're great.
Doing great.
Okay, so if you're watching on Facebook Live, yes, I've stepped aside. I only moved in 2 chairs. But glad to have y'all on board here. I want to start with this. Hey, before we get to what your mission is up here, I want to start with talking about the Chitimacha in Louisiana. What is the messaging y'all hope to share with everyone in the state of Louisiana about, who you are, where you've been and where you're going. I know, really widespread. I opened it up right there.
Well, we are a small tribe. We're the only tribe in Louisiana that's on our Aboriginal homelands. We have the first casino, land-based casino in Louisiana, and I'd like to say we've grown, and we do a lot for our community. It's not just about the tribe itself. We're out there trying to do things for the entire community. So we have various different departments. We've got our own court system on our reservation. We're the only tribe that has federally recognized tribe that has our own schools on the reservation.
Okay.
We have our tribally owned school. We've got our museum. We are a community within a community.
Okay, so
nation within a nation.
Okay, yes, I live nation within a nation. Let's walk down that path a little bit. I got to ask you. I'm always curious when I hear about education. You get your own school system.
Yes.
How big? How many people do you serve?
Currently, our school, it's pre-K through 8th grade.
Okay.
We have a roughly, I guess,
132.
It's at 132 now.
Students.
Yeah.
Between pre-K through 8th. So over the.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's not bad at all. Where do they go after 8th?
They either go to a private school or a public local school.
Okay. Talk to me a little bit about that community service as well. If you're talking about broadening out and expanding, not just the tribe, but the entire community. What does that look like in real life?
Well, we have a clinic on our reservation. We not only serve tribal members, but we serve anyone that wants to come to the clinic.
Okay.
They use their insurance or whatever, but they can come utilize our clinic. We have a fitness recreation department.
Okay.
So that's not just for tribal children. That's for the entire community. Tribal, non-tribal, on and off reservation. They have football. They have, softball. They have basketball. They have all the different sports, cross country. And like I said, it's not just for tribal kids. It's for the whole community.
All right. I should probably pause right here to talk geography for just a minute because you said you're on your Aboriginal land. Where and how big?
I don't know the exact numbers. I know it's like from Louisiana, from New Orleans down, like New Orleans towards Lake Charles up to Alexandria area.
Okay.
All in that lower area was Chitimacha.
Okay. All right. That covers a pretty big swath of the state, though. So yeah, you've got
But
a
right
lot.
now we're in St. Mary Parish.
Okay.
Yes.
We have about 1,000 acres located in Sherrington.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that puts a much better parameter on it. So in St. Mary Parish, which call it what, South Central Louisiana, I guess.
Yes.
Not quite Southeast Louisiana.
Well, I always say South Central near the Gulf of Mexico.
Fair
That's
enough.
where we're at.
Fair enough. We're talking with Melissa Darden and Skylar Abear. Let's talk a little bit about being on the council and whatnot. What is your role there? How do you define, what's your job description?
Oh, everything. It's everything. I guess we are the lawmaking body, just like you have anywhere else. It's I guess depending on how you look at it. Some people look at say like a council body for a parish. Some people look at it as a higher level for the United States. Even you have the president and you have your cabinet of people.
Right. Scott, let's move over to you for the exact same question. How do you describe what's your job description?
So this is my first term as a councilman. When I decided to run to become a council member, I really worked on building relationships with outside governing bodies. So I wanted to partnership with everybody around us so we could help each other. But I guess, our job is to just we make a lot of.
We have our own set of codes.
This is where I wanted to go with this. Is because for those that don't know, and count me in there as well. What would y'all aren't just like a city council. You're a tribal nation. There's a
Right.
difference between being on like EBR's Metro Council and having like sovereignty.
Yes.
That's where I'm going with this. So walk me down that path with the codes.
When you enter the reservation, you have signs at all entrances
Mhm.
because now you're entering the sovereign nation of the Chitimacha, and
Right.
you have to abide by our laws.
Okay.
Now we have our own separate set of laws, and like I say, our own court system.
So give me an example of where laws would be different.
I can give you an example.
Go for it.
Okay, so we don't have to follow state law. We do have to follow state laws, but on the reservation, so the state requires a cosmetologist to get checked by state board.
Yeah.
Okay, on the reservation, we don't have to do that.
Awesome.
We don't have.
I hope the Pelican Institute is listening.
We don't pay property taxes.
Okay.
Let's see. I mean, there's a bunch of different things. Like, okay, so if one of our members, I mean, this might sound a little gray, but if one of our tribal members gets drug raided, like they have to go, it's by the
tribal police.
Not
Okay, not like a JDC or something.
Right.
Right. Okay. So you handle your own.
Yes.
Okay. What's the mission up here at Washington Mardi Gras?
Networking.
Okay.
We've been, I'd like to say we've been more of a quiet tribe.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to step out and do a little bit networking with.
You have to be known, like you have to put your face out there. We're working on the bridge project right now. So we have a bridge that is adjacent to our tribal reservation.
Okay.
The bridge was not going to,
they decommissioned
decommissioned it.
Okay.
So we adopted the bridge. We got the grant funds to design the bridge, and as soon as it's designed, we will get the grant funds to build the bridge.
What bridge is this?
This is a Sheraton Bridge. It's not located on the reservation.
Okay.
It is off the reservation, but it is key access because we do have tribal members along with a lot of non-tribal members on the other side of the bayou.
Okay.
And our fire department, because we have our own fire department also,
Mhm.
we service that area. So technically they got to go 8 miles to Franklin to come 8 miles back to Sheraton if there's a fire on that side.
Oh, wow.
So it's, I mean,
So
it
this
really,
bridge is vital. I mean,
it
that's,
is.
yeah.
But the state had no intentions on fixing this bridge.
Okay, and then see, back
anytime
at
soon.
giving that specific example really backs it up to tell the story. Is when you're looking for a voice, you come here to network. When you're looking for a voice,
Right.
how is this little 1,000 acre patch of land going to get heard when going against all the big politicos around the state? So,
Right. Well, working together, like we can get these grant funds because we are tribal. We can fix the bridge, can work together, and then eventually give the bridge back to the state to take care of.
very, very cool stuff. Is this the first trip to Washington Mardi Gras?
Yes.
Mardi Gras, yes.
Okay, all right. So, map me out here? What are you most looking forward to?
Well, we got a lot of stuff done last night.
Yes.
So that's the thing though, is like everybody knows about the big ball on Saturday night and the captain's dinner on Friday night. It's the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's when all the business gets done.
Yeah.
Met a lot of people last night.
A lot.
All right. If you don't mind me asking, where were you?
We went to
what is it?
Attorney General's
Waldorf.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Over at the Waldorf.
Yes.
Yeah, Waldorf.
Yeah.
We
So there was like
stepped in
5
there.
different events going on at the same
We stepped
time.
in there. We stepped in for Jeff Landry.
Okay.
We even seen who? What is his name?
Oh, 50 Cent. We got a picture.
He's
of
here?
him. Yeah.
Yes.
See, he's on my list to get on for an interview. So
Man,
now
he was so nice
Now I
last
know it.
night.
Well, he's
Very
like taking
nice.
over Shreveport.
Yeah.
So he's taking over downtown Shreveport. So, all right. Well, then, look, first Washington Mardi Gras, increasing the voice, all good things to be going on. I want follow up on this bridge issue. I'll get with y'all later on.
Well, I can say that the state has been working with us very well.
Yeah.
On this issue.
Well, but statewide, there's hundreds
So many
of
bridges that need to be fixed.
So how do you make your voice the loudest? That's what I want follow up on. So next
Yeah.
time we have y'all on, let's talk about that specifically. In the meanwhile, thank y'all so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Okay, you're welcome.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
No, glad to have you on. That was Melissa Darden and Skylar Abear. Quick break. When we come back, we're drawing for another King Cake. That's next. Soon, man. Absolutely. All right. How are we doing?
We're about to be in traffic.
Okay. You got a winner?
I think it's Matt Nange. I think Matt Decker.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt won.
Okay. Oh, there you go. You texted me.
I can't remember his last name, but I'm 100% sure that's Matt Decker, Matt Nange.
Let's go with Thurn, Tony, Matt.
I want a king cake, Brian. Damn.
Decker is. I don't know why you're telling that to me. I buy mine. I don't get free shit.
I need to try the Joe's king cake.
It's a donut king cake. It's the heavenly
Heavy?
donut. It's the exact same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want heavy like that.
No, it's heavy as all hell. You want a Haydell's.
Haydell's, okay.
Yeah.
You ever had the U-Bids yet?
Not yet. I'm told it's not that good though.
Oh shit.
But I love Ubix pies. So it depends.
I was about to say, don't say that on there.
No, it's everybody's got their own tastes. I can dislike something that somebody else loves. But I've never had one, and the person who told me they didn't like the Ubix king cake also doesn't like Ubix pies. So I'm like, you're coming in biased.
See, I would say take it with a grain of salt then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I got this thing edited.
Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hey, Mardi Gras is a great time to take off with your crew for a quick trip to our nation's capital with BTR's nonstop service to DC. You get there faster so you can spend more time making memories. As they're clearing things up from the winter storm, Rolling through the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. Look, y'all know I'm a huge fan of BTR. All right, and I will sing their praises forever. What went down this week was not a BTR issue. That was an American Airlines issue, to be sure. But tell you what, we're up here now. We're at Washington Mardi Gras now, and I know I'll be flying back home into BTR as well. So check your bags and your worries anytime you travel with BTR, with nonstop flights to a number of national destinations, including right here in Washington, D.C. Convenient parking, shorter wait times. You can start your vacation even sooner. FlyBTR.com. All right, we pick a winner every Thursday for a king cake every Thursday up until Mardi Gras, which I believe means we've got this week and next week before this week and next week. Let me check the calendar here.
I was about to say, hang on.
With the travel I went through yesterday, we got, two more after this week. We got February 5th and then Abe Lincoln's birthday on February the 12th. So who's our winner today, Breland?
Matt and Decker. Matt Decker won our king cake today.
See, that's so you got to call them, but they probably know because Matt's in the chat over on Facebook
he's in the
Live.
Chat. Matt, you got to tell me how the king cake is.
So yeah, what you win is it's a Mathern's king cake, but you got to pick it up from the Mathern's at Kenilworth. Now there are 3 Mathern's in Baton Rouge, and if you're purchasing a king cake, you can get one from any of the 3. But for Matt, for your free king cake, it's Mathern's at Kenilworth. Now, when it comes down to it, when the parades start rolling, I love that Mathern's downtown. You cannot find a better spot along the way. But your king cake headquarters is Mathern's at Kenilworth. All right, we're almost done for today. Just a couple of quick reminders. We'll be broadcasting live from 4 to 6 this afternoon. I have a partial rundown of who will be joining us this afternoon, if you will bear with me. Adam Knapp from Leaders for a Better Louisiana is slated for this afternoon. I believe Ty Bofferding from the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association is hopping on board. We're going to speak with Ileana. Did I get her last name? From Louisiana Department of Economic Development is going to hop on board. And then we're going to pick up our conversation where we left off with Charlton Meganley from the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs. He was on our 6 o'clock hour this morning. Absolute phenomenal segments. So we're going to continue that this evening right here as we're broadcasting live from Washington Mardi Gras. One more quick reminder. Washington Mardi Gras coverage is presented by Rev, Presley Wealth Management, Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association, Restore the Mississippi River Delta, and the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. With our last minute to go, one more reminder. It's looking like the field for District 5's congressional race is starting to get a little bit clearer as to who's in and who's out. 2 of the big names that are out. Yesterday, we learned Congressman Garrett Graves is not going to run, and he hinted that he could be running in a future race. So I can't wait to find out what that's all about. We learned about former Congressman Graves yesterday. This morning, we learned on this show that Monroe's Mayor Friday Ellis is committed to Monroe. Very eloquent answer to that. That conversation will be available on demand at talk1073.com when the show's over with. Very eloquent answer from Mayor Ellis, though. He basically said he's not, looking to be a politician that jumps the ladder every time he can. He's here to serve the people of Monroe right now. So maybe something bigger or something broader in his future, but for right now, he is committed to serving the people of the city of Monroe, growing that into a more regional thing. All right, we're all done. We'll see you this evening on Talk 107.3.
Okay,
yeah.
Brian, Cade's going to be producing. You knew that, though.
Yeah. Yep, all good.
Okay, let me go edit this clip. It'll be up in a minute. Featured Mayor Ellis, I'm assuming. Or we can have 2 features. Mayor Ellis and who else?
No, I'm honestly thinking no features because it's like an all or nothing thing with Washington Mardi Gras. Go ahead with Mayor Ellis for the feature. That's fine.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna cut the board off.
All right.
Okay.
Let it. All right, Facebook, we're out of here. We will be back at it 4 o'clock Central Time this afternoon. We will see you then.